Once upon a time, in a charming village bordered by lush forests and rolling hills, there was a hidden garden known only to a few. This garden, known as the Moonlit Garden, was said to bloom with flowers that only opened under the light of the full moon. It was rumored that these flowers had magical properties, but the garden was shrouded in mystery and enchantment. In this village lived a curious and kind-hearted boy named Finn. Finn was fascinated by the tales of the Moonlit Garden and dreamed of discovering its secrets. He often gazed at the moon and wondered what wonders it might hold. His grandmother, who was the village storyteller, had told him stories about the garden's magic and the guardian who protected it. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, casting a silver glow over the landscape, Finn decided it was time to find the Moonlit Garden. Armed with a lantern and a small notebook, he set off toward the edge of the forest where the garden was rumored to be hidden. As Finn ventured deeper into the forest, he followed a faint, melodic sound that seemed to float through the trees. The music guided him along a winding path until he reached an old, ivy-covered gate. With a deep breath, Finn pushed open the gate, and a breathtaking sight unfolded before him. The Moonlit Garden was more beautiful than he had ever imagined. Flowers of every color and shape bloomed under the moonlight, their petals glowing softly. There were roses that shimmered like silver, daisies with golden centers, and lilies that seemed to sparkle like stars. In the center of the garden stood a tall, graceful figure, an elegant fairy with wings that glowed like the moon. "Welcome, Finn," the fairy said with a voice like a gentle breeze. "I am Leora, the guardian of the Moonlit Garden. Few have ever found their way here. What brings you to our enchanted haven?" Finn's eyes widened with awe. "I've always been fascinated by the stories of this garden. I wanted to see it for myself and learn about its magic." Leora smiled warmly. "The Moonlit Garden holds many wonders, but it is not only a place of beauty. It has a special purpose. Each flower here represents a dream or wish. To keep the garden flourishing, we must ensure that dreams are nurtured and fulfilled." Finn looked around, seeing the vibrant flowers and feeling a sense of wonder. "How can I help?" Leora's eyes sparkled. "There is a special flower here, the moonflower, which has not bloomed for many years. It is said that it blooms only when a wish from a pure heart is made. If you can find the moonflower and make a wish for something truly meaningful, it will help restore balance to the garden." Determined to help, Finn searched the garden with care. He examined every flower and listened to the whispers of the breeze, hoping to find the elusive moonflower. After a while, he spotted a single, delicate flower hidden among the tall grasses. Its petals were a deep, shimmering blue, and it seemed to glow with a gentle light. Finn approached the moonflower and knelt beside it. With sincerity and thoughtfulness, he made his wish. "I wish for the dreams of everyone in the village to come true and for their hearts to be filled with joy and hope." As Finn finished his wish, the moonflower's petals began to open, and a soft, radiant light filled the garden. The light spread out, touching every flower, and the entire moonlit garden began to shimmer and glow more brightly than ever before. Leora appeared beside Finn, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Your wish has restored the garden's magic. The moonflower's light will now nurture the dreams and hopes of all who believe in the magic of the Moonlit Garden." Finn felt a warm sense of fulfillment. Leora presented him with a small, silver pendant in the shape of a moon. "This pendant will remind you of the magic you've helped restore. It will guide you whenever you need to find your way." With a heart full of joy and a newfound sense of wonder, Finn thanked Leora and made his way back to the village. As he walked, the pendant around his neck seemed to glow softly, and the moonlit path illuminated his journey. When Finn returned to his village, he shared the story of the Moonlit Garden and the magic it held. The villagers were inspired by his tale, and the magic of the Moonlit Garden seemed to touch their lives. Dreams and hopes flourished, and the village became a place of happiness and light. Every full moon, Finn would return to the edge of the forest, gazing at the moonlit night, knowing that the magic of the Moonlit Garden was always with him. And so, the garden's enchantment lived on, a reminder that even the smallest wish could create the most wondrous magic. The end. Once upon a time, in the idyllic kingdom of Eldoria, there was a deep and mystical forest called the Whispering Woods. The forest was known for its ancient trees, shimmering streams, and most of all, its guardian, a majestic silver phoenix named Leora. Leora was a mythical creature with feathers that shone like the moon and eyes that glowed with wisdom. Her role was to protect the forest and ensure balance and harmony within it. One fateful day, a darkness began to creep into the Whispering Woods. The streams dried up, the trees withered, and a sense of despair settled over the land. The source of this darkness was a cursed amulet, hidden deep within the heart of the forest. It had been lost for centuries, but its malevolent power had awakened, threatening to engulf the entire kingdom. The wise and gentle King Alden of Eldoria knew that to save his kingdom, someone needed to find and destroy the cursed amulet. He called upon the bravest and most selfless of his subjects to undertake this perilous quest. Among those who answered the call was a young girl named Arya. Arya was known throughout the kingdom for her kind heart, bravery, and unwavering determination. Arya had grown up listening to tales of the Whispering Woods and the Silver Phoenix. She felt a deep connection to the forest and a strong desire to restore its beauty and balance. With a heart full of courage, she set out on her quest, carrying nothing but her father's old sword and a small, enchanted lantern that glowed with a soft, comforting light. As Arya ventured deeper into the Whispering Woods, she encountered various challenges and trials. The once friendly creatures of the forest had become hostile under the influence of the cursed amulet. Arya used her wit and bravery to navigate through these obstacles, always guided by the soft glow of her lantern. One evening, as the moon cast a pale light over the forest, Arya found herself at the edge of a dark, forbidding glade. She knew this must be the heart of the forest where the cursed amulet lay hidden. However, before she could enter, a brilliant flash of silver light descended from the sky. It was Leora, the silver phoenix, her feathers gleaming with an otherworldly light. Leora landed gracefully in front of Arya and spoke in a voice that was both gentle and powerful. "Young one, why do you seek the heart of the forest?" Arya bowed respectfully and replied, "Great Leora, I seek to destroy the cursed amulet that is poisoning our land and restore the balance to the Whispering Woods." Leora looked into Arya's eyes and saw the sincerity and determination in her heart. "Very well, brave one. To defeat the darkness, you must find the silver feather. It is the only thing powerful enough to destroy the cursed amulet. But beware, the feather is hidden in the Cave of Echoes, guarded by the Spirit of Shadows." Arya thanked Leora and continued her journey, guided by the Silver Phoenix's wisdom. She soon arrived at the Cave of Echoes, a dark and eerie place filled with the whispers of ancient spirits. The Spirit of Shadows emerged from the darkness, a formidable being with eyes that glowed like embers. To test her worthiness, the Spirit of Shadows challenged Arya to a duel of wits. "Answer my riddle, and the silver feather shall be yours," it said. "Fail, and you will be lost in the shadows forever." The spirit then asked, "I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I?" Arya pondered the riddle carefully. She thought about the elements of the forest and the nature of shadows. After a moment of deep reflection, she answered, "You are a cloud." The Spirit of Shadows smiled and nodded, impressed by her wisdom. "You have answered correctly, brave one. The silver feather is yours." It handed her a gleaming feather that shimmered with a radiant light. With the silver feather in hand, Arya made her way back to the heart of the forest. The cursed amulet lay in a dark, twisted shrine, its malevolent energy pulsating through the air. Arya held the silver feather high and, with a surge of determination, plunged it into the amulet. A blinding light erupted from the feather, engulfing the amulet in a blaze of pure, white fire. The darkness began to dissolve, and a sense of peace and balance returned to the Whispering Woods. The streams flowed once more, the trees regained their lush green foliage, and the creatures of the forest were freed from the amulet's curse. Leora, the silver phoenix, appeared once again, her eyes filled with gratitude and pride. "You have done it, Arya. You have restored the balance and saved our land. The Whispering Woods and all of Eldoria owe you a great debt." Arya returned to the village as a hero, celebrated by all for her bravery and selflessness. The Whispering Woods flourished, its beauty and magic restored, and the tale of the young girl who saved the kingdom became a cherished legend. And so, Eldoria thrived once more, a land of harmony and enchantment, forever grateful to the brave heart who had ventured into the darkness and brought back the light. The end. Once upon a time, in the magical land of Alicia, there was a small village named Bramblebrook. This village was surrounded by dense forests, crystal-clear lakes, and meadows filled with wildflowers. The people of Bramblebrook lived simple, happy lives, but they had a secret longing. They wished to see the legendary silver unicorn, a mystical creature believed to bring good fortune and eternal peace. In Bramblebrook lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was kind-hearted and adventurous, with a curiosity that knew no bounds. Her grandmother, Esme, would often tell her tales of the silver unicorn and its magical powers. Elara dreamed of one day seeing the unicorn and bringing its blessings to her village. One fateful spring, a terrible drought struck Bramblebrook. The rivers dried up, crops withered, and the villagers grew desperate. Elara, seeing the suffering of her friends and family, decided it was time to find the silver unicorn. With a heart full of hope and determination, she set off into the unknown. Elara's journey led her into the heart of the enchanted forest, a place teeming with magic and mystery. As she walked through the forest, she encountered a wise old owl named Orion, perched on a low branch. Orion had seen many travelers come and go, but none with such pure intentions as Elara. "Why do you venture into the enchanted forest, young one?" Orion asked, his voice deep and resonant. "I seek the silver unicorn," Elara replied. "Our village is suffering from a terrible drought, and I hope to bring back its blessings." Orion nodded thoughtfully. "The path to the silver unicorn is perilous and full of challenges. You must possess courage, wisdom, and kindness to succeed. Take this feather," he said, plucking one of his own and handing it to her. "It will light your way in the darkest times." Elara thanked Orion and continued her journey, the feather glowing softly in her hand. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she came across a shimmering pond. At the edge of the pond stood a beautiful deer with eyes as blue as sapphires. "Greetings, traveler," the deer said. "I am Luna, the guardian of this pond. Why do you seek the silver unicorn?" Elara explained her quest, and Luna listened intently. "The silver unicorn resides in the Valley of Echoes, beyond the misty mountains," Luna said. "But to reach it, you must first solve a riddle. If you succeed, I will guide you to the mountains." Elara agreed, and Luna recited the riddle. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, and I can drown. What am I?" Elara thought for a moment, then smiled. "You are fire," she answered confidently. Luna nodded in approval. "You are correct, Elara. Follow me, and I will lead you to the misty mountains." Luna led Elara through the forest, and they soon reached the base of the misty mountains. The peaks were hidden in swirling mists, and the air was chilly. Elara began her climb, using the owl's feather to light her path. The journey was arduous, and she faced many obstacles, but her determination never wavered. At last, Elara reached the Valley of Echoes, a serene place where every sound seemed to linger and repeat. In the center of the valley stood the silver unicorn, its coat glistening like moonlight and its eyes filled with ancient wisdom. The unicorn stepped forward, its hooves barely making a sound on the soft grass. "Why have you come, young Elara?" the unicorn asked, its voice as gentle as a breeze. "I seek your help, noble unicorn," Elara said, bowing respectfully. "My village is suffering from a drought, and I hope to bring back your blessings to save my people." The silver unicorn looked at her with kind eyes. "You have shown great courage and a pure heart. I will grant your wish, but first, you must complete one final task. You must find the heartstone hidden within this valley. It is a symbol of love and hope, and only those with true intentions can find it." Elara set off through the valley, her eyes scanning every nook and cranny. She walked for hours, but the heartstone eluded her. Exhausted, she sat down and began to sing a lullaby her grandmother used to sing to her. As she sang, a soft glow appeared beneath a nearby tree. Elara approached and found the heartstone, glowing with a gentle light. She returned to the silver unicorn and presented the heartstone. "You have succeeded, Elara," the unicorn said. "Your pure heart and determination have proven your worth. I will grant your village the rain it needs." The unicorn raised its head and let out a melodious call. The skies darkened, and rain began to fall gently, soaking the earth. Elara felt a sense of relief and joy wash over her. "Thank you, noble unicorn," she said, tears of gratitude in her eyes. "Remember, Elara," the silver unicorn said, "true magic lies within the heart. Your love and courage have brought this blessing upon your village." Elara returned to Bramblebrook, where the rain had already begun to revive the land. The villagers rejoiced, and her parents embraced her, proud of their brave daughter. The story of Elara's journey spread far and wide, inspiring others to believe in the power of love, courage, and selflessness. And so, the village of Bramblebrook thrived once more, forever grateful to the girl who brought the blessings of the silver unicorn to their lives. The end.
Once upon a time, in a small village named Eldertree, there lived a curious and adventurous girl named Alina. Alina loved exploring and had an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. One day, she heard stories about the Whispering Woods, a mysterious forest at the edge of the village. The woods were said to be enchanted, filled with magical creatures and hidden secrets, but no one who had ventured in had ever returned. Despite the villagers' warnings, Alina felt a strong urge to explore the Whispering Woods. Armed with her bravery and a small satchel of provisions, she decided to set off on an adventure. As Alina approached the entrance to the Whispering Woods, she felt a strange, tingling sensation. The trees seemed to whisper her name, and the air was filled with a soft, melodic hum. The forest was dense and shadowy, with beams of sunlight piercing through the canopy, creating a magical, dappled effect on the forest floor. Alina stepped into the forest, and immediately, the trees seemed to close in around her. She took a deep breath and continued forward, determined to uncover the secrets of the Whispering Woods. As Alina ventured deeper into the forest, she came across a small clearing where a wise old owl named Orin perched on a low branch. Orin had large, knowing eyes that seemed to sparkle with ancient wisdom. "Welcome, young traveler," Orin hooted. "I see you have come to explore the Whispering Woods. Few have the courage to do so. What is it you seek?" Alina explained her desire to discover the secrets of the forest and learn about its magical inhabitants. Orin nodded approvingly and offered to be her guide. "But beware," he warned, "not all is as it seems. The forest can be both wondrous and perilous." Orin led Alina deeper into the forest, and soon they came across a bubbling stream. The water was crystal clear, and colorful fish swam gracefully beneath the surface. Orin instructed Alina to drink from the stream, explaining that it would grant her the ability to understand and communicate with the forest creatures. Alina knelt by the stream and took a sip of the cool, refreshing water. Instantly, she felt a rush of energy and a sense of connection to the forest. As they continued their journey, Alina began to hear the voices of the animals around her, each with its own story to tell. After a while, Orin led Alina to a hidden village deep within the forest. The village was inhabited by a group of gentle forest spirits known as the Sylvans. The Sylvans were small, glowing beings with delicate wings and a deep love for nature. They welcomed Alina warmly and invited her to stay with them. The Sylvans told Alina about the heart of the Whispering Woods, a magical tree known as the Heartwood Tree. The tree was said to hold the essence of the forest magic, but it was guarded by a fierce and cunning creature known as the Shadow Panther. Many had tried to reach the Heartwood Tree, but none had succeeded. Determined to see the Heartwood Tree, Alina asked Orin and the Sylvans for their help. They warned her of the dangers, but agreed to guide her to the tree. As they approached the heart of the forest, the air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to deepen. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the trees, and the shadow panther appeared. It was a sleek, black creature with piercing green eyes that seemed to see into Alina's soul. The panther circled Alina, its eyes never leaving hers. "You seek the heartwood tree," the panther growled. "But to reach it, you must prove your worth. Show me your bravery and your kindness." Alina took a deep breath and stepped forward. She spoke softly and kindly to the panther, explaining her desire to learn about the forest and protect it. She promised to share the knowledge she gained with her village and help preserve the magic of the Whispering Woods. The shadow panther listened intently and then nodded. "Your heart is pure," it said. "You may pass." With the panther's blessing, Alina and her companions continued their journey. Soon, they arrived at a clearing where the heartwood tree stood. The tree was immense and ancient, with golden leaves that shimmered in the light. Its roots spread out like veins, pulsing with the magic of the forest. Alina approached the heartwood tree and placed her hand on its trunk. She felt a surge of warmth and a deep sense of peace. The tree's magic flowed into her, filling her with knowledge and understanding. She saw visions of the forest, history, and its future, and she knew she had found what she was seeking. Orin and the Sylvans watched in awe as the heartwood tree shared its wisdom with Alina. When the visions faded, Alina thanked the tree and promised to protect the forest and its magic. With a heart full of gratitude and newfound knowledge, Alina began her journey back to Eldertree. Orin and the Sylvans accompanied her to the edge of the forest, and she bid them farewell, promising to return and visit them often. As Alina emerged from the Whispering Woods, the villagers of Eldertree were amazed to see her. She shared her story and the wisdom she had gained, and the village began to thrive once more. The villagers learned to live in harmony with nature, and the magic of the Whispering Woods spread throughout the land. Alina grew up to be a wise and respected leader, known for her deep connection to the forest and her kindness to all living things. The tale of her adventure became a cherished legend passed down through generations. And so, the Whispering Woods remained a place of wonder and magic, protected by those who understood its secrets and cherished its beauty. And Alina, the brave girl who ventured into the unknown, became a symbol of courage, kindness, and the enduring bond between humans and nature.
The Mirror of Echoes. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains touched the clouds and the rivers sparkled with stardust, there was a hidden realm known as Eldoria. Eldoria was famous for its mystical Mirror of Echoes, an enchanted mirror said to reveal not just one's reflection, but the true essence of one's heart and destiny. In Eldoria lived a kind-hearted young woman named Isolde. Isolde was known throughout the land for her wisdom and compassion. Despite her gentle nature, she felt that something important was missing in her life. She longed to discover her true purpose and the path she was meant to follow. The call of the mirror. One evening, as the full moon cast its silvery light over Eldoria, Isolde received a mysterious letter delivered by a shimmering white owl. The letter read, "To find your true path, seek the Mirror of Echoes in the Whispering Caves. There, you will discover the truth that lies within." Determined to uncover her destiny, Isolde set out for the Whispering Caves, a network of mystical caverns hidden deep within the enchanted forest. The journey was long and filled with magical creatures and ancient wonders, but Isolde's heart was steadfast. The Whispering Caves. As Isolde approached the entrance of the Whispering Caves, she was greeted by a gentle breeze that carried soft whispers. The whispers seemed to guide her deeper into the caverns, which glowed with a soft, bioluminescent light. The walls of the caves were adorned with sparkling crystals, and the air was filled with the scent of blooming nightshade flowers. Following the whispers, Isolde arrived at a grand chamber. At the center of the chamber stood the Mirror of Echoes, framed in gold and encrusted with precious gems. The mirror's surface shimmered like a calm, moonlit lake, reflecting not only the surroundings but also the emotions and thoughts of those who gazed into it. The revelation. Isolde approached the mirror with a mixture of awe and trepidation. As she looked into its surface, she saw her reflection transform into various scenes from her past and glimpses of her future. She saw herself helping others, guiding lost souls, and finding joy in simple acts of kindness. The mirror then showed her a vision of a troubled village on the brink of despair. In the vision, Isolde was seen helping the villagers, bringing hope and rebuilding their lives. The scenes revealed her true destiny, to be a beacon of light and support for those in need. The Mirror of Echoes spoke in a gentle, resonant voice, "Isolde, your heart is pure and your intentions noble. Your purpose is to bring hope and healing wherever you go. Embrace this truth and let your light shine." The journey of fulfillment with a newfound sense of purpose, Isolde left the Whispering Caves and returned to Eldoria. She dedicated herself to helping those in need, traveling far and wide to offer support and kindness. Her presence became a source of hope and inspiration for many. Isolde's journey took her to distant lands, where she used her wisdom and compassion to resolve conflicts, heal broken hearts, and uplift communities. Her acts of kindness and generosity transformed many lives and earned her the title of the Heart of Eldoria. The legacy years later, Eldoria thrived as a land of peace and prosperity, all thanks to Isolde's unwavering dedication and love. The Mirror of Echoes remained in the Whispering Caves, a symbol of the wisdom and guidance it had bestowed upon Isolde. The story of Isolde and the Mirror of Echoes was passed down through generations, inspiring countless souls to follow their hearts and embrace their true purpose. Eldoria continued to shine brightly, forever blessed by the courage and compassion of one extraordinary woman. And so, the Kingdom of Eldoria remained a beacon of hope and light, guided by the legacy of Isolde and the magical mirror that revealed the truth within. Once upon a time, in a secluded valley hidden by misty mountains, there was a small village called Eldergrove. Eldergrove was known for its lush gardens and vibrant flowers, but the most remarkable of all was the starflower. This rare and magical flower bloomed only once every 100 years, under the light of the midnight sun. The starflower was said to possess incredible powers. Its petals sparkled like the night sky, and it was believed that a wish made while touching the starflower would come true. The villagers eagerly awaited its blooming, but for the past century, the flower had not appeared. Legend had it that the flower's magic had faded because a greedy sorcerer had stolen a part of its power long ago. A courageous girl named Lyra lived in Eldergrove. Lyra had always been fascinated by the starflower and its legend. Unlike the other villagers, who had become resigned to its absence, Lyra believed that if anyone could restore the flower's magic, it was her. She had heard stories about an enchanted forest where the sorcerer had hidden the starflower's lost power. On the eve of the 100th year, Lyra decided to embark on a quest to find and restore the flower's magic. With her trusty satchel and a heart full of determination, she set out towards the enchanted forest, which was known to be filled with mysterious creatures and magical obstacles. As Lyra entered the forest, she was greeted by the soft glow of bioluminescent plants and the whispering of ancient trees. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, but the forest was eerily quiet. Lyra followed a path marked by twinkling fireflies, her path lit by the moon's gentle glow. Along the way, she encountered a talking fox named Orion. Orion was wise and had heard tales of the sorcerer's hidden lair. To find the sorcerer's lair, you must solve 3 riddles, Orion advised. Only then will you be able to retrieve the starflower's lost power. Lyra agreed and followed Orion to a clearing where an ancient stone altar stood. 3 shimmering orbs hovered above the altar, each representing a riddle. The first orb floated closer and the riddle echoed through the clearing. I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I? Lyra thought carefully and answered, a map. The orb glowed warmly and floated back. The second orb came forward, and its riddle was, the more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I? Lyra smiled and replied, footsteps. The orb shone brighter and returned to its place. The third and final orb presented its riddle, I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? After a moment's thought, Lyra answered, an echo. The orb glowed with a brilliant light and revealed a hidden passage. Orion guided Lyra through the passage, which led to a hidden cave adorned with glittering crystals. At the end of the cave, they found a grand chamber with a pedestal in the center. Resting on the pedestal was a small, ornate box, and inside the box was a vial containing a swirling, radiant essence, the lost power of the starflower. Just as Lyra was about to take the vial, a shadowy figure appeared. It was the sorcerer, whose eyes gleamed with dark magic. "You cannot take what belongs to me," the sorcerer declared. Lyra, though frightened, stood firm. "The starflower's magic must be restored. It's not yours to keep."
Not medicine.
The sorcerer laughed. "The magic belongs to whoever possesses it. But if you are so determined, prove your worth." With that, the sorcerer conjured a storm of illusions and obstacles. Lyra faced illusions of her greatest fears and challenges that tested her resolve. She relied on her courage and the kindness she had shown to others to overcome each challenge. Eventually, Lyra reached the sorcerer and, with a brave heart, offered the vial. "This is not for me," she said. "It is for the starflower and for everyone who believes in its magic." The sorcerer was taken aback by Lyra's selflessness. The dark magic dissipated, and the sorcerer's heart softened. "Perhaps I was wrong," he admitted. "Perhaps there is more to magic than possession." Lyra returned to Eldergrove with the vial. As the midnight sun rose, she poured the essence over the starflower. The flower's petals bloomed with an ethereal light, and its magic was restored. The village was filled with a radiant glow, and the starflower's wish-granting power was more potent than ever. The villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude, and Lyra was hailed as a hero. The starflower's magic brought prosperity and happiness to Eldergrove, and the legend of Lyra's bravery became a cherished story told for generations. And so, the Valley of Eldergrove thrived under the light of the starflower, a beacon of hope and wonder for all who believed in the magic of selflessness and courage. Once upon a time, in the tranquil kingdom of Everwood, there stood an ancient willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. The villagers believed that the tree had a magical power to grant wisdom to those who sought it with a pure heart. It was said that the tree would whisper secrets of the past and guidance for the future to those who truly listened. In the village of Willowbrook, there lived a young boy named Thomas. Thomas was known for his kind heart and his curious nature. He loved to explore the woods and often helped the villagers with their troubles. Despite his kindness, Thomas had always felt a deep sadness because his family had been struggling to find happiness since the passing of his older sister, Eliza, who had been dearly loved by everyone. One day, Thomas heard a story about the Whispering Willow and its magical abilities. Determined to find peace for his family and himself, Thomas decided to visit the tree and seek its wisdom. Early the next morning, armed with a small satchel of provisions and a heart full of hope, Thomas ventured into the forest. The path to the Whispering Willow was long and winding, but he followed the faint whispers of the wind that seemed to guide him. As he approached the ancient tree, its branches swayed gently in the breeze, and a soft, melodious hum filled the air. Thomas felt a sense of calm wash over him. He stood before the willow, its leaves shimmering in the dappled sunlight, and took a deep breath. "Whispering Willow," Thomas said with reverence, "I come seeking wisdom and guidance for my family. We have been in sorrow since the loss of my sister, Eliza. Please, help us find peace and joy once more." The Whispering Willow's branches rustled, and a soothing voice spoke from within the tree. "To find the peace you seek, you must first help others find their own. Only through acts of kindness and understanding can you heal your own heart." Thomas listened carefully and decided to follow the tree's advice. He began by helping the villagers in various ways, repairing broken fences, comforting those who were troubled, and sharing his time and kindness with everyone around him. His actions, though small, had a profound impact on the village. One day, while tending to the village's garden, Thomas discovered an old, overgrown plot of land that had once been the pride of Willowbrook. He decided to restore it, hoping it would bring joy to the villagers. With the help of his friends, he cleared the land, planted flowers, and built a beautiful gazebo in the center. As the garden bloomed and the gazebo stood proudly, the village began to flourish. The once somber atmosphere lifted, and the villagers' spirits brightened. They celebrated Thomas's efforts with gratitude and joy, and the village became a place of warmth and happiness once more. Thomas felt a deep sense of fulfillment as he saw the positive changes in his community. He returned to the Whispering Willow to thank it for the guidance it had given him. The tree's voice spoke again, "You have found the true meaning of wisdom by sharing your heart with others. Your family's happiness will return, for joy is not only found in receiving but also in giving." With renewed hope, Thomas returned home to find that his family had also been touched by the village's transformation. His parents, seeing the joy and love that surrounded them, felt their hearts healing. Though Eliza was no longer with them, her memory was honored through the happiness and kindness that had been rekindled in their lives. Thomas and his family lived happily in Willowbrook, their hearts forever touched by the Whispering Willow's wisdom. The ancient tree continued to stand tall, offering guidance and comfort to all who sought its counsel. And so, the village thrived, and the Whispering Willow remained a symbol of the magic that can be found in kindness, understanding, and the simple acts of helping one another. The end. In a kingdom where the fields were always in bloom and the sun seemed to smile upon the land, there was a castle nestled among the hills. This castle was ruled by a kind-hearted king and queen who had a beautiful daughter named Princess Elara. Elara was beloved by all, known for her kindness and her deep love for the kingdom's flora and fauna. Yet, there was one flower that had eluded her for years, a rare and mysterious bloom known as the Midnight Rose. This flower was said to blossom only once every 100 years, under the light of a full moon, and it was rumored to possess extraordinary magic. The Midnight Rose was said to bring profound wisdom and peace to anyone who found it. As the time for the rose's appearance drew near, excitement filled the air. Princess Elara longed to see this magical flower and learn the wisdom it was said to offer. On the eve of the full moon, she decided to embark on a quest to find the Midnight Rose. Clad in a cloak of midnight blue and carrying a small lantern, Elara ventured into the Whispering Woods, where the Midnight Rose was rumored to bloom. The woods were known for their enchantments and mystical creatures, and though she was a brave princess, Elara felt a flutter of nervous anticipation. As she walked deeper into the forest, the moonlight filtering through the canopy created an ethereal glow. The air was filled with the gentle hum of crickets and the occasional rustle of unseen creatures. Elara followed a winding path that seemed to beckon her forward, guided by the light of her lantern and the silvery moon above. After some time, Elara arrived at a clearing bathed in moonlight. At the center of the clearing was a small, tranquil pond with waters that shimmered like liquid silver. Surrounding the pond were a multitude of flowers, but none seemed to possess the rare, mystical quality she was searching for. Just then, a soft voice spoke from the shadows. "You seek the Midnight Rose, do you not?" Elara turned to see a wise old woman emerging from behind a tree. She wore a robe adorned with silver threads that sparkled in the moonlight. Her eyes were kind but held a depth of knowledge that intrigued Elara. "Yes," Elara replied. "I wish to find the Midnight Rose and discover its wisdom." The old woman smiled. "The Midnight Rose is not easily found. It does not grow in plain sight. You must first prove your worth by demonstrating the qualities it embodies: courage, compassion, and wisdom." Elara nodded, her heart full of determination. "I am ready." The old woman handed Elara a delicate silver vial. "This vial contains a potion that will reveal the true path to the Midnight Rose. But use it wisely, for it will only work once." Elara thanked the old woman and took the vial. She approached the pond and carefully poured a few drops of the potion into the water. As soon as the potion touched the surface, the water began to swirl, and a faint, glowing trail emerged from the pond, leading into the deeper woods. With renewed hope, Elara followed the glowing trail. The path led her through dense foliage and over moss-covered stones until she reached a secluded grove. In the center of the grove stood an ancient tree with branches that seemed to touch the stars. Beneath the tree was a single, magnificent flower, the Midnight Rose. The rose was unlike anything Elara had ever seen. Its petals were a deep, velvety blue, and they seemed to shimmer with an inner light. As she approached the rose, she noticed that the air around it was filled with a soothing, harmonious melody. Elara gently knelt and reached out to touch the Midnight Rose. As her fingers brushed the petals, a warm, radiant light enveloped her. The light seemed to fill her with a profound sense of peace and understanding. In that moment, Elara understood the true wisdom of the midnight rose. It was not just a flower but a symbol of the harmony and balance found in nature and within oneself. It reminded her that wisdom came from living with an open heart and a willingness to embrace both challenges and joys. With a heart full of gratitude, Elara carefully left the midnight rose in its place, knowing it was meant to inspire and guide others who came after her. She made her way back to the castle, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. When she arrived, the kingdom was abuzz with excitement over her adventure. Elara shared the wisdom she had gained, teaching her people the importance of compassion, courage, and balance in their lives. The kingdom flourished under her gentle guidance, and the midnight rose became a cherished symbol of hope and wisdom. The story of Princess Elara and the midnight rose was passed down through generations, reminding everyone that the true magic of the midnight rose lay not in the flower itself but in the heart of the seeker who approached it with genuine intent and open-heartedness. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by lush green hills, there lived a young girl named May. May was a talented artist who loved to paint. She would spend hours every day, creating beautiful pictures of the world around her. Her family was poor, so she could only paint using old scraps of paper and a few colors she had made from crushed flowers and berries. But despite these humble materials, her paintings were full of life and beauty. May's greatest wish was to have a real paintbrush and proper paints. She dreamed of creating even more vivid and detailed pictures, ones that could bring joy to her entire village. However, she knew her family could not afford such things, so she kept her dream close to her heart. One day, as May was walking home from the market, she saw an old man sitting by the side of the road. He was dressed in tattered clothes, and his hair was as white as snow. Despite his appearance, his eyes sparkled with kindness. May, being the kind-hearted girl she was, approached him and offered him a small loaf of bread she had saved from her lunch. "Thank you, dear child," the old man said, his voice gentle. "You have a generous heart. In return for your kindness, I would like to give you a gift." From beneath his robes, the old man pulled out a paintbrush. It was unlike any brush May had ever seen. The handle was made of fine wood, polished smooth, and the bristles glowed with a soft, golden light. "This is a special paintbrush," the old man explained. "It has the power to bring whatever you paint to life. But remember, you must use it wisely and only for good." May's eyes widened in amazement as she took the paintbrush from the old man. "Thank you," she exclaimed, overwhelmed with gratitude. With the enchanted paintbrush in her hand, May rushed home, eager to try it out. She found a piece of paper and, with a deep breath, began to paint. She started with something simple, a bowl of fresh, ripe fruit. As soon as she finished the last stroke, something incredible happened. The fruit in the painting shimmered and then, right before her eyes, it became real. The bowl of fruit appeared on the table, just as if it had always been there. May gasped in delight and disbelief. The old man had spoken the truth. Whatever she painted would come to life. Excited by her new gift, May began to paint more things that her family needed. She painted a warm blanket for her mother, a sturdy pair of shoes for her father, and even a little wooden toy for her younger brother. Each painting came to life, and soon her family's small home was filled with all the things they had always wanted but could never afford. But May did not stop there. She knew that her village was poor, and many people struggled to get by. So she decided to use her paintbrush to help others as well. She painted bags of rice and vegetables for her neighbors, who were always short on food. She painted clothes for the children who had none. She even painted a well in the village square, so everyone could have fresh, clean water to drink. Word of May's magical paintbrush quickly spread throughout the village, and people came from far and wide to see her. They marveled at the gifts she had created, and they were grateful for her kindness. The village, which had once been filled with hardship, was now a place of abundance and joy, all thanks to May and her enchanted paintbrush. However, not everyone was happy about May's good deeds. There was a greedy and cruel landlord who lived in a grand house on the hill overlooking the village. When he heard about the magical paintbrush, he was filled with envy. He wanted the paintbrush for himself, so he could use its power to grow even richer. One night, the landlord sent his servants to May's house to steal the paintbrush. They crept in while she was asleep and took it from her bedside table. When May woke up the next morning and saw that her paintbrush was gone, she was heartbroken. Meanwhile, the landlord began using the paintbrush for his own selfish desires. He painted chests full of gold and jewels, grand feasts with the finest foods, and magnificent palaces for himself. But because his heart was filled with greed, the things he painted did not bring him happiness. The gold turned to dust, the food spoiled, and the palaces crumbled to the ground. In desperation, the landlord sought out May. He demanded that she teach him how to use the paintbrush properly so that he could get what he wanted. May, who was wise beyond her years, knew that the paintbrush's magic could only work for good. She agreed to help the landlord, but she had a plan. She asked him what he desired most. "I want a palace greater than any other," the landlord said, "a palace that will last forever and make me the most powerful man in the land." May nodded and asked for the paintbrush. The landlord handed it to her eagerly, thinking he was about to get his wish. May began to paint, but instead of a palace, she painted a great mountain, tall and steep, with the landlord standing on top. As soon as she finished the painting, the mountain became real, just like all her other creations. The landlord found himself standing on top of a towering mountain, far away from his riches and his lands. He cried out in anger, but it was too late. The mountain was so tall and steep that there was no way for him to climb down. May took back her paintbrush and returned to the village, where she was greeted with cheers and gratitude. The village thrived under her care, and the people lived happily, knowing that May would always use her gift to help those in need. As for the landlord, he remained on top of the mountain, where he had plenty of time to think about his greed and the harm it had caused. And while he was there, the villagers lived peacefully and prosperously, their lives forever changed by the kind heart and magic of the little girl named May. And so, the village was filled with joy and color, and May's name was remembered for generations as the girl who used her gift to bring goodness and light to the world. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom known for its breathtaking meadows and sparkling rivers, there was a small village called Starfield. Starfield was famous for a single, extraordinary flower called the starflower. This rare flower bloomed only once every 100 years under the light of the full moon and was said to hold the secret to endless happiness. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Elara. Elara was known for her love of nature and her deep sense of wonder. She had heard stories about the starflower all her life and dreamed of seeing it in bloom. However, as the time for the starflower's appearance approached, a mysterious fog began to cover the kingdom, preventing the villagers from reaching the meadow where the starflower grew. Determined to see the starflower and bring its magic to her village, Elara decided to embark on a quest to uncover its secret. She packed a small satchel with essentials, her grandmother's old compass, a lantern, and a book of local legends. With her trusty cat, Whiskers, by her side, Elara set off towards the fog-covered meadow. As they ventured into the fog, Elara and Whiskers encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. The owl's eyes glowed like the moon, and it greeted them with a knowing look. "Greetings, brave traveler," the owl said. "The path to the starflower is obscured by the fog. To clear the way, you must find 3 enchanted items hidden within the forest." Elara nodded, her resolve strengthening. "What are these items?"
Okay, bring it to page.
The owl replied, "The items are a moonstone, a silver feather, and a crystal tear. They hold the power to dispel the fog and reveal the path to the starflower." With this knowledge, Elara and Whiskers set off to find the enchanted items. Their first destination was the Moonstone Cave, a hidden grotto said to glow with moonlight. Inside the cave, they found the moonstone resting on a pedestal surrounded by shimmering crystals. To retrieve it, Elara had to solve a puzzle etched into the pedestal. "I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Elara thought carefully and answered, "Fire." The pedestal opened, and the moonstone was revealed. Next, they journeyed to the Whispering Grove, was said to be hidden. The grove was filled with trees that seemed to whisper secrets to one another. As Alara walked among them, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, revealing a nest high in the branches. In the nest was a magnificent silver feather, glowing softly. As she carefully retrieved the feather, the whispers of the grove grew more harmonious, guiding her to her next destination. The final item, the crystal tear, was located in the heart of the forest, a mystical glade where magical creatures gathered. Alara found the glade, but the crystal tear was guarded by a mischievous sprite named Pippin. Pippin challenged Alara to a game of riddles. If you can solve my riddle, the crystal tear will be yours. If not, you must leave empty-handed. Pippin's riddle was, I am always in front of you but never seen. I am what you leave behind when you move forward. What am I? Alara thought for a moment and answered, a shadow. Pippin smiled and handed over the crystal tear, acknowledging Alara's cleverness. With the 3 enchanted items, Moonstone, Silver Feather, and Crystal Tear, Alara and Whiskers returned to the fog-covered meadow. As they approached, Alara placed the items in a special order she had learned from the legends. The Moonstone was set on a pedestal, the Silver Feather was gently placed beside it, and the Crystal Tear was held high. The fog began to lift, revealing a path leading to the heart of the meadow. There, bathed in moonlight, was the starflower, its petals shimmering with a radiant, ethereal glow. The sight was even more magnificent than Alara had imagined. As Alara approached the starflower, a soft voice filled the air. You have shown great bravery and determination. The secret of the starflower is not just in its beauty but in the joy you've brought to others through your quest. With this realization, Alara felt a deep sense of happiness. She knew that the magic of the starflower would be a beacon of hope and joy for her village. As she returned to Starfield, the fog had completely vanished, and the villagers greeted her with cheers and celebration. The starflower's magic brought prosperity and happiness to the village, and Alara's story became a cherished legend, reminding everyone of the power of courage, kindness, and the pursuit of dreams. And so, Alara, Whiskers, and the village of Starfield lived happily ever after, always carrying the light and magic of the starflower in their hearts. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a land far beyond the reaches of ordinary maps, there was a forgotten kingdom known as Luminera. This kingdom was hidden from the eyes of the world, shielded by a powerful enchantment. Its people lived in peace and prosperity, their lives illuminated by a magical silver mirror that hung in the grand hall of the castle. The mirror had the power to reveal the true nature of things and guide the kingdom's rulers with wisdom. However, one fateful night, a sorceress named Morgana, envious of Luminera's beauty and harmony, cast a dark spell over the kingdom. The silver mirror was stolen, and Luminera was plunged into darkness. Without the mirror's light, the kingdom's magic began to fade, and the once vibrant land became shrouded in mist and sorrow. In a small village at the edge of the enchanted forest, a young girl named Eloan lived. Eloan was known for her kind heart and adventurous spirit. She often heard tales of the lost kingdom and its magical mirror from the village elders, and she dreamed of restoring the kingdom to its former glory. One day, while exploring the forest, Eloan stumbled upon an ancient tree with a door carved into its trunk. Intrigued, she opened the door to find an old, dusty journal inside. The journal belonged to the last royal historian of Luminera, and it contained clues about the mirror's whereabouts and how to break the enchantment. Determined to help, Eloan took the journal to the village elder. After studying it carefully, the elder told her, to retrieve the silver mirror and restore Luminera, you must first find the 3 enchanted keys hidden throughout the land. These keys will unlock the path to the mirror and dispel Morgana's dark magic. Armed with the journal and a heart full of courage, Eloan set out on her quest. Her journey took her through lush meadows, over treacherous mountains, and into the depths of mysterious caves. The first key was hidden in the Whispering Grove, a forest where the trees could speak. There, Eloan met a wise old tree named Arboris. The tree spoke in riddles, and Eloan had to solve them to earn the first key. Arboris asked, I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Eloan thought for a moment and replied, Fire. Arboris's branches swayed in approval, and he handed her the first key, a delicate silver feather. Next, Eloan ventured to the crystal caverns, where the second key was said to be hidden. The caverns were filled with dazzling crystals that reflected light in every direction. There, she encountered a clever crystal dragon named Ignis. Ignis posed a challenge. To earn the second key, you must find the hidden crystal among the many. Only the one that shines with a pure light is the key you seek. Eloan carefully examined each crystal, guided by her intuition. After a long search, she found the one that glowed with a soft, warm light. Ignis, impressed by her perseverance and heart, gave her the second key, a radiant emerald. Finally, Eloan journeyed to the depths of the dark abyss, where the third key was concealed. The abyss was a treacherous place, filled with shadows and illusions. There, she encountered a gentle, glowing creature named Lumina. Lumina explained, to find the third key, you must face your deepest fear and overcome it with bravery and compassion. Eloan closed her eyes and faced her fears, of losing her way, of failing her quest. With each fear she confronted, she felt a surge of courage and resolve. When she opened her eyes, Lumina handed her the third key, a shimmering sapphire. With all three keys in hand, Eloan returned to the enchanted forest and found the entrance to Luminera, hidden behind an ancient veil of magic. She used the keys to unlock the path, revealing a hidden gateway that led to the heart of the kingdom. Inside, Eloan confronted Morgana, who had taken refuge in the grand hall where the silver mirror once hung. Morgana was surrounded by dark, swirling magic. Eloan, with the courage she had gained on her journey, faced the sorceress. The mirror belongs to the people of Luminera, Eloan declared. Its light must return to restore harmony and peace. Morgana, surprised by Eloan's bravery and sincerity, tried to resist but was ultimately overcome by the purity of her heart. The dark enchantments were lifted, and the silver mirror was restored to its rightful place. As the mirror's light spread across the kingdom, Luminera was bathed in a glorious, shimmering glow. The land returned to its former splendor, and the people celebrated the return of their magic. King Cedric, the rightful ruler of Luminera, thanked Eloan for her bravery and selflessness. As a token of their gratitude, he invited her to stay in the kingdom and offered her a place of honor. Eloan chose to return to her village, but she knew she would always be connected to the magic of Luminera. Her tale of courage and the restoration of the silver mirror became a cherished story in both her village and the restored kingdom. And so, the kingdom of Luminera thrived once more, its people living in joy and harmony, forever grateful to the brave girl who ventured into the unknown and brought back the light. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the skies were painted with the colors of dawn and the rivers sang lullabies, there was a small village named Glimmerwood. Glimmerwood was nestled in a lush valley surrounded by the towering mystical mountains, where the people lived in harmony with nature and each other. The village was known for its enchanting glow at night, a result of the magical fireflies that danced among the trees. At the heart of Glimmerwood lived a young girl named Clara, who was known for her adventurous spirit and her kind heart. Clara lived with her father, a skilled carpenter, and her mother, a talented weaver. Clara loved to explore the forest with her best friend, a clever fox named Jasper. They would spend hours discovering new paths and marveling at the wonders of nature. One evening, as Clara and Jasper were returning from one of their adventures, they noticed that the fireflies were not glowing as brightly as usual. The villagers gathered in the square, worried and whispering about the dimming light. The village elder, a wise woman named Alara, explained that the firefly's glow was tied to the Heartstone, a magical gem hidden deep within the enchanted forest. If the Heartstone's light faded, so would the fireflies, plunging Glimmerwood into darkness. Determined to save her village, Clara volunteered to find the Heartstone and restore its light. With Jasper by her side, she set off into the enchanted forest. The forest was a place of beauty and mystery, with ancient trees that seemed to whisper secrets and streams that sparkled like liquid silver. As Clara and Jasper ventured deeper into the forest, they encountered their first challenge, a wide, fast-flowing river with no bridge in sight. Just as Clara was about to despair, a magnificent stag appeared on the opposite bank. The stag spoke in a deep, soothing voice, "To cross this river, you must answer my riddle. What has roots as nobody sees, is taller than trees, up, up it goes, and yet never grows?" Clara thought for a moment and then smiled. "A mountain." The stag nodded and lowered its antlers, creating a magical bridge of vines and flowers. Clara and Jasper crossed the river safely and continued their journey. Soon, they arrived at a dense part of the forest where the trees were so thick that no light penetrated. In the darkness, they could hear the soft rustling of leaves and the faint sound of footsteps. Suddenly, a pair of glowing eyes appeared, and a large, wise owl emerged from the shadows. "To pass through this darkness, you must show your wisdom," the owl hooted. "Tell me, what can fill a room but takes up no space?" Clara pondered the question and then answered, "Light." The owl's eyes twinkled with approval, and the dense trees parted, revealing a clear path bathed in moonlight. As they walked through the illuminated path, they reached a beautiful meadow where a majestic unicorn with a shimmering mane stood. The unicorn looked at them with sorrowful eyes. "My magic is fading, and I can no longer guard the Heartstone," the unicorn said. "To find the stone, you must show compassion. Can you help me?" Clara, with Jasper's help, gathered herbs and concocted a healing potion, just as her mother had taught her. She offered it to the unicorn, who drank it gratefully. Immediately, the unicorn's strength was restored, and it shone with a radiant light. "You have shown great kindness," the unicorn said. "Climb on my back, and I will take you to the Heartstone." Clara and Jasper climbed onto the unicorn's back, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden glade. At the center of the glade stood the Heartstone, glowing faintly. However, as Clara approached it, a dark shadow emerged from the ground. It was Morwen, a sorceress who sought the Heartstone's power for herself. "You cannot take the Heartstone," Morwen hissed, her eyes filled with malice. "It belongs to me." Clara stood her ground, her heart pounding but her resolve unwavering. The Heartstone belongs to those who seek to protect and cherish it, not to those who would use it for evil. Morwen raised her staff, ready to strike, but Jasper darted forward and knocked the staff from her hands. In the confusion, Clara seized the Heartstone and held it high. A brilliant light burst forth, banishing Morwen and her dark magic from the glade. With the Heartstone in her grasp, Clara made her wish for the Firefly's light to be restored and for Glimmerwood to be safe and prosperous. The Heartstone's light enveloped the glade, and a wave of magic spread throughout the forest and beyond, illuminating the entire kingdom. Clara and Jasper returned to Glimmerwood as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery and the return of the Firefly's enchanting glow. The Heartstone was placed in a special shrine in the village, where its magic could continue to protect and nourish the land. Clara's name became a legend, inspiring generations with her courage and compassion. And so, the village of Glimmerwood thrived under the watchful eyes of its brave young hero, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by lush green hills, there stood an ancient willow tree known as the Whispering Willow. The villagers believed that the tree held magical powers, for whenever the wind rustled its leaves, it seemed to whisper secrets of the past and future. In this village lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known for her kind heart and insatiable curiosity. She loved spending time near the Whispering Willow, where she would sit for hours, listening to the gentle whispers and imagining all the stories the tree might tell. One day, as Lila was sitting beneath the willow, she noticed something unusual. The whispers seemed more urgent, and the tree's leaves shimmered with an ethereal light. Intrigued, Lila placed her ear closer to the trunk, and a soft, melodic voice spoke directly to her. "Lila," the Whispering Willow said, "I need your help. A terrible curse has befallen our magical realm, hidden deep within the forest. Only someone with a pure heart and unwavering courage can lift the curse and restore balance." Lila's eyes widened with excitement and determination. She agreed to help the Whispering Willow and was given a small, golden acorn as a guide. The acorn glowed warmly and pointed toward a hidden path in the forest. Following the acorn's guidance, Lila ventured into the heart of the forest. The path was winding and filled with magical creatures, glowing fireflies, mischievous sprites, and talking animals. As she journeyed deeper, she encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. To lift the curse, the owl hooted, "You must seek the heart of the forest. It is guarded by the enigmatic shadow beast. Only by showing kindness and bravery can you overcome the beast and retrieve the heart." Thanking the owl, Lila continued on her quest. The path grew darker and more mysterious as she approached the heart of the forest. Soon, she reached a misty clearing where the shadow beast awaited. The beast was a majestic creature with shimmering fur and eyes that glowed like moonlight. It was both awe-inspiring and fearsome. Instead of attacking, the shadow beast spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "Why have you come, young one? Do you seek to defeat me?" Lila stood tall and replied with conviction, "I am here to lift the curse and restore the balance. I seek the heart of the forest to help the Whispering Willow and my village." The shadow beast's eyes softened, and it regarded Lila with a mixture of surprise and admiration. "Many have come before you with strength and weapons, but none with such a pure heart. To prove your courage, you must pass my final test." The beast's test was one of compassion. It summoned a dark mist that enveloped Lila, making her feel lost and afraid. But Lila remembered the whispers of the Whispering Willow and the kindness she had shown on her journey. She focused on her heart's warmth and called out to the mist, expressing her wish to bring light and joy to those who were suffering. As Lila's words resonated, the mist began to dissipate, revealing the heart of the forest, a radiant gem pulsating with a soft, golden light. The shadow beast, now smiling, handed over the heart to Lila. "You have proven yourself worthy," the beast said. "Return it to the Whispering Willow and the curse will be lifted." With the heart of the forest in hand, Lila made her way back to the Whispering Willow. The tree's whispers were now filled with hope and gratitude. As Lila placed the heart at the base of the willow, a wave of light and magic surged through the forest, dispelling the darkness and restoring the realm's natural beauty. The village celebrated Lila's bravery and the return of harmony to the land. The Whispering Willow, now more vibrant than ever, continued to share its whispers, but now with stories of courage and kindness. Lila's adventure became a cherished tale in the village, and she often returned to the Whispering Willow to listen to its gentle whispers and to remember the magical realm she had saved with her heart full of courage and love. And so, the Whispering Willow stood tall, a beacon of hope and magic, reminding everyone of the power of a pure heart and the wonders that lie beyond the ordinary. Once upon a time, in a kingdom nestled between rolling hills and emerald forests, there was a magical village known as Willowbrook. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, and their days were filled with laughter, song, and the occasional mischief of enchanted woodland creatures. In the heart of Willowbrook stood a grand, ancient oak tree named Elder Oak. It was said that Elder Oak had witnessed the rise and fall of many generations and that it held the wisdom of the ages within its gnarled branches. But as wise as Elder Oak was, it had one secret: it was the guardian of a magical crystal known as the Heart of the Forest. The Heart of the Forest was a glowing, emerald-green gem that had the power to bring peace and prosperity to the land. However, it was also said that if the crystal were ever stolen, a dark curse would befall the kingdom. To protect it, Elder Oak had always kept the crystal hidden deep within its trunk, accessible only to those with pure hearts. One crisp autumn morning, a young girl named Alara woke to find a strange sight outside her cottage. An enormous, swirling mist had settled over the village, and the usually cheerful woodland creatures were nowhere to be seen. Alarmed, Alara decided to investigate. She grabbed her cloak, a basket of berries, and set off towards Elder Oak. As Alara approached the ancient tree, she noticed that the mist grew thicker, and the branches of Elder Oak seemed to tremble. The heart of the tree had dimmed, and it was clear that something was terribly wrong. Determined to help, Alara touched the trunk gently and whispered, "Elder Oak, what has happened?" From within the tree, a soft, sorrowful voice replied, "The heart of the forest has been stolen, and the land is growing darker by the minute. Only a true-hearted soul can retrieve it and restore balance." Alara felt a chill run down her spine, but she nodded resolutely. I will find it. Please, tell me where to start. Elder Oak's voice was barely a whisper. Follow the path through the mist. It will lead you to the Shadow Realm. There, you will find the lair of the thief. Beware, for darkness can cloud even the purest of hearts. With a deep breath, Elara ventured into the swirling mist. As she walked, the world around her grew darker and more twisted. Trees seemed to twist into eerie shapes, and shadows whispered unsettling secrets. But Elara pressed on, guided by a faint, glowing light that grew stronger with each step. Finally, she arrived at a cavern entrance shrouded in shadows. With a steady heart, she entered. Inside, the cavern was filled with a soft, eerie glow from crystals embedded in the walls. At the center of the cavern, on a pedestal, sat the heart of the forest, surrounded by swirling dark energy. Guarding the crystal was a shadowy figure cloaked in black. The figure turned to face Elara, revealing a face that seemed to shift and change with the shadows. Who dares to challenge me? The figure's voice echoed menacingly. I am Elara, and I have come to reclaim the heart of the forest, she declared bravely. The figure laughed, a sound like rustling leaves. You think you can take it from me? This crystal has given me power beyond your imagination. But I shall offer you a challenge. Solve my riddle, and I will let you take the heart. Fail, and you shall be lost in darkness forever. Elara nodded, steeling herself. What is your riddle? The figure's eyes glowed faintly as it spoke. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Elara thought deeply. The cavern seemed to hold its breath as she pondered. Then, she remembered the whispers of the wind she had heard in the forest, the sounds that carried messages without a physical form. An echo, she answered confidently. The shadowy figure's eyes widened in surprise, and with a wave of its hand, the dark energy surrounding the heart of the forest dissipated. You have solved the riddle, and your heart is indeed pure. Take the crystal and restore the balance. Elara approached the pedestal and carefully lifted the heart of the forest. As she held it in her hands, the cavern began to brighten, and the shadows retreated. She made her way back through the mist, and with each step, the world around her grew lighter and more vibrant. When she returned to Willowbrook, the mist had vanished, and the villagers rejoiced at her return. Elder Oak's branches sparkled with renewed vitality, and the heart of the forest was safely returned to its resting place within the tree. The kingdom flourished once more, and Elara's bravery became a cherished tale told for generations. The enchanted creatures of the forest danced and sang, celebrating the return of peace. And so, the kingdom of Willowbrook thrived under the watchful gaze of Elder Oak, protected by the pure heart of a brave young girl. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering lake, there lived a kind-hearted girl named Lila. Her family was known for their beautiful handcrafted lanterns that illuminated the village during the night. Each lantern was made with love and magic, passed down through generations. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the village prepared for the annual Lantern Festival, Lila's mother fell ill. Without her guidance, Lila was left to complete the final lantern, a special one meant to bring prosperity and joy to the village for the coming year. Lila worked tirelessly, but as the night grew darker, the lantern remained incomplete. She was just about to give up when she noticed a faint glow coming from the edge of the forest nearby. Curiosity piqued, she decided to follow the light. Through the whispering trees and over the sparkling stream, Lila ventured deeper into the forest until she arrived at a clearing bathed in an ethereal glow. There, hovering above a small, ancient pedestal, was a lantern unlike any she had ever seen. Its light was soft and inviting, with colors dancing like the northern lights. Just as Lila reached out to touch it, a gentle voice spoke from behind her. "Greetings, young one," said a wise old woman with eyes like the twilight sky. "I am the guardian of the enchanted lantern. This lantern holds the magic of dreams and wishes." Lila, surprised but determined, explained her predicament. "I need to complete the lantern for the festival. My mother is ill, and I don't know if I can finish it in time." The guardian listened intently. This lantern can help you, but its magic must be used wisely. It can grant one wish, but only if it is made with pure intentions and a true heart. Lila thought for a moment. She wished for her village to be blessed with happiness and prosperity for the coming year. With a deep breath, she made her wish and touched the enchanted lantern. The lantern's light grew brighter, and a warm breeze swirled around Lila, carrying the magic of her wish into the night sky. The guardian smiled kindly. You have chosen well. Your heart is pure, and your wish is selfless. As Lila made her way back to the village, she found that the lantern she had been working on was now glowing with the same magical light she had seen in the forest. With renewed energy, she finished decorating it with intricate patterns and vibrant colors. The lantern festival began, and as each lantern was lit, the village was bathed in a warm, enchanting glow. The magic of the enchanted lantern spread throughout the village, bringing joy, prosperity, and a sense of unity. Lila's mother, feeling the magic's touch, began to recover. The village celebrated with great festivities, knowing that their wishes had been granted. Lila's selflessness and the magic of the enchanted lantern had made the festival one to remember. And so, under the shimmering lights of the lantern festival, Lila and her village lived happily ever after, knowing that the true magic of the lanterns came from the kindness and love shared by those who made them. The end. In the heart of a lush, green valley, there was a quaint village called Bramblewood. The villagers lived in harmony, surrounded by rolling hills and vibrant meadows. At the edge of the village stood an ancient orchard, known for its fruit that was said to be touched by magic. The trees in the orchard bore fruit of every color imaginable, but the magic of the orchard had faded over time, and the once bountiful trees now yielded only a few fruits each year. A young girl named Eliza lived in Bramblewood. Eliza was known for her kindness and her love for nature. She often visited the orchard, tending to the trees and dreaming of the days when the orchard was full of life. One crisp autumn morning, Eliza discovered an old, hidden path behind the orchard that led to a small, ivy-covered cottage. Curious, she approached the cottage and knocked on the door. An elderly woman with a warm smile answered. Her name was Mabel, and she was the last guardian of the orchard's magic. Mabel revealed that the orchard's magic had been lost because the heart of the orchard, a mystical crystal known as the Everglow Gem, had been stolen many years ago by a mischievous spirit. The quest for the Everglow Gem. Mabel explained that the only way to restore the orchard's magic was to retrieve the Everglow Gem from the spirit's lair deep in the misty forest. She told Eliza that the journey would be challenging and required bravery, wisdom, and a pure heart. Determined to restore the magic of the orchard, Eliza set off on her quest with a small satchel of provisions and a map Mabel provided. She followed the map into the misty forest, where fog clung to the trees and the air was filled with mysterious sounds. The challenge of bravery. As Eliza ventured deeper into the forest, she came across a rickety bridge spanning a deep chasm. The bridge creaked ominously, and below, the chasm was filled with swirling mist. Eliza knew she had to cross it to continue her quest. Taking a deep breath, Eliza carefully crossed the bridge, each step echoing through the chasm. Halfway across, the bridge began to sway dangerously. Eliza's heart raced, but she remembered Mabel's words about bravery. Focusing on her goal and steadying her nerves, she made it safely to the other side. The challenge of wisdom. On the other side of the chasm, Eliza found a grand oak tree with a door carved into its trunk. Inside was a cozy room with shelves lined with books and scrolls. An old, wise owl named Orin awaited her. Orin was the guardian of the spirit's lair and would test her wisdom before allowing her to proceed. Orin presented Eliza with a riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Eliza pondered the riddle, recalling the sound she had heard in the forest. After a moment, she answered, an echo. Orin nodded, pleased with her answer, and provided her with a magical feather. This feather would light her way through the darkness and reveal hidden paths. The challenge of compassion. With the magical feather in hand, Eliza followed a winding path to a clearing where the spirit's lair was hidden. There, she found a small, trembling creature, an ethereal, glowing sprite trapped in a net of thorny vines. The sprite was crying softly, its light dimming. Eliza approached the sprite with compassion, gently freeing it from the vines. The sprite, though weak, expressed gratitude and revealed that it had been guarding the Everglow gem for many years. The spirit who had taken the gem was not truly evil, but had been tricked into taking it by a dark enchantress. The spirit's redemption. Eliza and the sprite followed the feather's light to the spirit's lair, a shimmering cavern deep in the forest. The spirit, a swirling mist-like creature with eyes full of sorrow, was holding the Everglow gem. Eliza spoke to the spirit with kindness, explaining the importance of the gem and the harm it had caused. Moved by Eliza's compassion and understanding, the spirit admitted its mistake and willingly returned the Everglow gem. The spirit had been misled by the enchantress, who had promised to make the spirit powerful in exchange for the gem. Restoring the magic with the Everglow gem safely in hand, Eliza returned to the orchard. Mabel welcomed her with a joyful smile and guided her in placing the gem in the heart of the orchard. As soon as the gem was set in place, a brilliant light spread through the trees, and the orchard came alive with vibrant colors and rich, fragrant fruit. The once faded orchard was now flourishing with life, and the villagers of Bramblewood rejoiced. They celebrated Eliza's bravery, wisdom, and compassion, which had restored the orchard's magic and brought prosperity back to their village. A legacy of magic. Eliza's story became a cherished legend in Bramblewood, inspiring future generations to embrace bravery, wisdom, and compassion. The orchard continued to thrive, its magic a reminder of the pure-hearted girl who had restored its enchantment. And so, in the magical village of Bramblewood, the enchanted orchard remained a symbol of hope and renewal, its fruits a testament to the power of kindness and the magic of a courageous heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the mountains brushed against the sky and the forests whispered ancient secrets, there was a hidden glade known only to a few. This glade housed a pond of extraordinary beauty, shimmering under the moonlight like liquid silver. It was said that the pond had magical properties and could grant a single wish to anyone pure of heart who visited it under the full moon. In the nearby village of Meadowbrook lived a young girl named Mira. Mira was known for her kindness and bravery, qualities that shone through in everything she did. She lived with her grandmother, who had raised her with tales of the moonlit pond. As the full moon approached, Mira decided to seek out the pond and make a wish, to bring happiness to her village, which had fallen on hard times due to a long drought. One night, under the glow of the full moon, Mira set out on her quest. She followed a winding path through the forest, guided by the light of the moon and the twinkling stars. After hours of walking, she finally arrived at the moonlit pond. Its waters gleamed like a mirror, reflecting the silvery light of the moon. Mira took a deep breath and knelt by the edge of the pond. She closed her eyes and made her wish, "I wish for rain to fall on Meadowbrook, so that our fields may be green and our village may prosper." As soon as she spoke, the waters of the pond began to shimmer more brightly, and a soft voice spoke from within the ripples. "Your wish is noble, and your heart is pure. But to grant this wish, you must prove your courage." Mira opened her eyes to see a gentle figure rising from the pond, a guardian spirit with shimmering wings and a gown of moonlight. The guardian's eyes sparkled like stars, and her voice was as soothing as a lullaby. "Prove your courage?" Mira asked, her heart racing with both excitement and fear. "Yes," the guardian replied. "Beyond this pond lies a dark forest. Within it is a crystal that holds the power to summon the rain. You must retrieve this crystal and bring it back to the pond." Mira nodded, determined to help her village. She took a lantern and ventured into the dark forest, where shadows danced and eerie noises filled the air. The forest seemed to close in around her, but Mira pressed on, guided by the faint glow of her lantern. After what felt like hours, Mira found herself at the heart of the forest, where a towering tree stood. Its branches twisted into strange shapes, and at its base was a small, hidden door. She pushed the door open and stepped into a cavernous space filled with the soft, golden light of the crystal. The crystal was perched on a pedestal in the center of the cavern, glowing with a warmth that made Mira's heart swell with hope. But just as she reached for it, a dark figure emerged from the shadows, a creature with glowing red eyes and sharp claws. It was a forest guardian, tasked with protecting the crystal. Mira took a deep breath, her bravery overcoming her fear. She spoke softly but firmly, "I come not to take, but to return with what I need to save my village." The forest guardian hesitated, and Mira continued, "My village is in desperate need of rain. I asked not for myself but for them." The guardian's eyes softened as it listened. With a low growl, it stepped aside, allowing Mira to take the crystal. She thanked the guardian and hurried back to the moonlit pond. As she returned to the pond, the guardian's spirit appeared again, her face radiant with approval. Mira placed the crystal on the surface of the water. Instantly, the pond began to bubble, and a gentle rain began to fall, spreading across the sky and soaking the dry earth of Meadowbrook. Mira returned home to find her village transformed. The fields were green, the wells were full, and the people were joyous. Mira's heart swelled with pride and happiness. She knew her village would thrive once more, and it was all thanks to the magic of the moonlit pond and her own bravery. And so, under the soft glow of the moon, Mira's wish had come true. The village of Meadowbrook flourished, and Mira became a legend, known for her courage and kindness. The moonlit pond continued to shimmer under the night sky, a beacon of hope and magic for all who believed in its wonders. Once upon a time, in a tranquil kingdom nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there was a magical garden known as the Moonflower Meadow. This meadow was famous for its rare flowers that bloomed only under the light of the full moon. The most enchanting of these was the moonflower, a delicate blossom that glowed with a soft, silvery light. Legend had it that the moonflower held the power to grant one wish to anyone who found it on the night of the full moon. In the nearby village lived a young girl named Isla. She was known for her curiosity and kind heart. Every month, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Isla would visit the Moonflower Meadow, hoping to catch a glimpse of the magical flower. Yet, despite her many visits, she had never seen it bloom. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, Isla decided that this time she would solve the mystery of the moonflower. She dressed warmly in her favorite cloak and set off towards the meadow, her heart full of hope and determination. As Isla entered the meadow, the soft moonlight bathed the landscape in a gentle glow. She wandered among the blooming flowers, their petals shimmering like stars. Despite the beauty around her, she couldn't find the elusive moonflower. Suddenly, Isla noticed a flickering light in the distance. Following the light, she discovered a small, hidden glade where an old, wise-looking owl perched on a branch. The owl's eyes gleamed with ancient knowledge. "Greetings, young Isla," the owl said in a deep, soothing voice. "I see you seek the moonflower. To find it, you must first solve the riddles of the meadow. Only then will the path to the moonflower be revealed." Isla nodded, eager to begin. The owl spoke the first riddle: "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Isla thought for a moment and then answered, "A map." The owl's eyes twinkled with approval. "Correct. Here is your first clue." The owl handed Isla a small, silver leaf that glowed softly in the moonlight. The second riddle followed: "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Isla smiled and answered, "A joke." The owl nodded and gave her a tiny, golden star. "Well done. Now for the final riddle: I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Isla thought carefully and answered, "A fire." The owl hooted in delight and gave her a crystal vial filled with stardust. "You have solved the riddles and proven your worth. Follow the light of these clues to find the moonflower." With the clues in hand, Isla followed the silver leaf, the golden star, and the stardust. Each clue seemed to lead her closer to the heart of the meadow. Finally, she arrived at a secluded corner where a soft, shimmering light illuminated a single, radiant moonflower. The moonflower was even more beautiful than Isla had imagined. Its petals glowed with a silvery light, casting a gentle, calming aura over the meadow. Isla approached the flower and gently touched its petals. The moonflower's glow grew brighter, and a soft, melodic voice spoke. "You have found me, brave and kind-hearted Isla. What is your wish?" Isla closed her eyes and thought of her village, which had been struggling with a long drought. She wished for rain to restore the land and bring prosperity to her home. As she spoke her wish, the moonflower's light expanded, filling the meadow with a brilliant, soothing glow. The sky above began to cloud over, and soon, gentle rain began to fall. The meadow soaked up the rain, and the land around the village started to flourish with new life. Isla returned to her village to find that the rain had transformed the barren fields into lush, green pastures. The villagers celebrated, their hearts filled with joy and gratitude for the miraculous change. From that day on, the Moonflower Meadow became a cherished part of the village's history. The tale of Isla's bravery and the magical moonflower was passed down through generations, a reminder of the power of kindness and the wonders that can be found when one follows their heart. And so, the moonflower continued to bloom under the light of the full moon, a symbol of hope and magic in the heart of the meadow. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and ancient forests, there was a hidden gem known as Twilight Hollow. This village was famous for its shimmering moonlight, which was said to have magical properties that granted wishes to those with pure hearts. In Twilight Hollow lived a gentle girl named Elara, who was known for her kindness and her love for the night sky. Elara spent her evenings gazing at the stars through her telescope and dreaming of adventures beyond the village. Her closest companion was a wise and graceful deer named Fennel, who roamed the forest and knew all its secrets. One evening, as Elara and Fennel walked along the edge of the village, they noticed that the moonlight had grown dim and shadowy. The once brilliant moon seemed to be losing its glow, and the village was shrouded in an eerie darkness. Concerned, Elara and Fennel decided to investigate. As they reached the edge of the village, they found a small, mysterious lantern glowing with a soft, silver light. Attached to the lantern was a note that read, "Help restore the moon's light. Find the moonstone, hidden in the caves of echoes. Only the bravest will succeed." Determined to help, Elara and Fennel set off on their quest to find the moonstone. They followed a narrow path through the moonlit forest, where the trees seemed to whisper ancient songs. The path led them to the entrance of the Caves of Echoes, a dark and cavernous place filled with shimmering crystals and echoing sounds. Inside the caves, they faced their first challenge, the Trial of Echoes. The walls of the cave seemed to twist and turn, creating confusing echoes of their footsteps. Elara and Fennel had to navigate through the labyrinth by listening carefully to the echoes and following the faintest, most consistent sounds. With patience and teamwork, they managed to find the correct path leading deeper into the cave. Their journey brought them to a vast underground chamber, where they encountered the second challenge, the Trial of Reflection. In the center of the chamber was a giant mirror that reflected not just their images, but their deepest fears and doubts. The mirror showed Elara and Fennel their greatest insecurities, but they had to overcome these fears to proceed. Elara took a deep breath and spoke confidently, "We can do this together. Our courage and friendship are stronger than any fear." As they faced their fears, the mirror's reflections faded, revealing a hidden passageway leading to the final chamber. There, on a pedestal bathed in a soft, glowing light, was the moonstone. The moonstone was beautiful, with a surface that shimmered like 1,000 stars. However, as Elara reached for the moonstone, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was the Shadow Enchantress, a figure who had stolen the moon's light to gain power for herself. She sneered, "You think you can take the moonstone from me?" The Shadow Enchantress conjured dark illusions and tried to overwhelm Elara and Fennel. But Elara, recalling the lessons of courage and friendship, stood firm. She remembered the lantern's silver light and used it to counteract the Enchantress's darkness. Fennel, with his swift movements, helped distract the Enchantress, giving Elara the chance to grasp the moonstone. With a burst of light, the moonstone's magic restored the moon's glow. The Shadow Enchantress, defeated by the pure light, vanished into the shadows. Elara and Fennel returned to Twilight Hollow, where the moon's brilliance had been fully restored. The village shone with a radiant light, and the darkness that had covered it lifted. The villagers celebrated Alara and Fennel's bravery with a grand festival under the moonlight. The sky sparkled with stars, and the moon shone brightly, as if thanking them for their courage. The lantern, once dim, now glowed with a warm and inviting light. Alara and Fennel's adventure became a cherished tale in Twilight Hollow, a reminder of the power of bravery, friendship, and the light that comes from within. The village continued to thrive under the magical glow of the moon, and Alara's dreams of adventure became a reality, filled with wonder and magic. And so, Twilight Hollow remained a place of light and joy, forever touched by the courage of a kind-hearted girl and her loyal friend. The end. In a serene valley surrounded by towering mountains and blooming meadows, there was a village known for its vibrant flowers and joyful inhabitants. At the edge of this village, near a sparkling brook, stood a magnificent willow tree. This was no ordinary tree. It was called the Whispering Willow, famed for its ability to speak and offer guidance to those in need. The villagers often spoke of the Whispering Willow's wisdom and kindness, but only a few had ever heard its gentle voice. Among these villagers was a curious and brave girl named Lyra. Lyra had always been fascinated by the tales of the Whispering Willow and dreamed of discovering its secrets. One day, a shadow fell over the village. A terrible drought had struck, and the once lush meadows and vibrant gardens were now dry and withered. The brook that flowed beside the Whispering Willow had shrunk to a mere trickle, and the villagers were growing worried. Lyra decided to visit the Whispering Willow in hopes of finding a solution to the drought. She packed a small satchel with provisions and set off towards the tree, determined to seek its wisdom. As she approached the willow, she noticed its once green leaves had turned a pale, sickly color. The branches drooped sadly, and the brook beside it had become a dry bed of stones. Lyra felt a pang of concern for the ancient tree. Whispering Willow, she called gently, "Can you hear me?" To her surprise, a soft, rustling voice answered from the tree's branches. "Yes, dear Lyra. I hear you. I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart to come and seek my counsel." Lyra's heart lifted with hope. "The village is suffering from a terrible drought. We need your help. What can we do to bring back the rain and restore our land?" The Whispering Willow sighed, its branches swaying as if in thought. "To restore the balance, you must embark on a journey to find the three elements of renewal: the crystal spring, the golden leaf, and the moonflower. These elements, when brought together, will summon the rain and rejuvenate the land." Lyra listened carefully as the Whispering Willow explained where each element could be found. The crystal spring was hidden deep in the forest, the golden leaf was guarded by a wise old fox in the hills, and the moonflower bloomed only under the light of the full moon in a secluded glade. With a determined spirit, Lyra set out on her quest. Her first destination was the forest, where she navigated through the thick undergrowth and ancient trees. After a long search, she finally discovered the crystal spring, a shimmering pool of clear, sparkling water. The spring glowed with an otherworldly light, and Lyra carefully collected a vial of its water. Next, Lyra journeyed to the hills, where she encountered the wise old fox. The fox, with its golden fur and knowing eyes, was initially wary of Lyra. However, after hearing her heartfelt plea, the fox agreed to give her the golden leaf, which was a single, radiant leaf that glimmered with a golden hue. As night fell, Lyra made her way to the secluded glade where the moonflower was set to bloom. She waited patiently as the full moon rose high in the sky. Finally, the moonflower emerged, its petals glowing softly in the moonlight. Lyra gently plucked the flower, careful not to disturb its delicate beauty. With the three elements of renewal in her possession, Lyra returned to the Whispering Willow. The tree's branches seemed to stir with renewed energy as she presented the elements. The Whispering Willow's voice was filled with gratitude. "You have done well, Lyra. Now, place the elements in the brook and let their magic flow through the land." Lyra followed the instructions, carefully placing the crystal spring's water, the golden leaf, and the moonflower into the brook. As the elements mingled with the water, a vibrant glow spread through the brook, flowing out into the meadows and fields. The land responded to the magic. Clouds gathered in the sky, and gentle rain began to fall. The once dry meadows quickly revived, and the flowers and trees burst into color. The villagers rejoiced as their gardens and fields were restored to their former glory. Lyra was hailed as a hero, but she knew that it was the wisdom of the Whispering Willow and the magic of the elements of renewal that had saved the village. She continued to visit the Whispering Willow, and in time, the tree's leaves regained their lush, green hue. The legend of Lyra and the Whispering Willow became a cherished story in the village, reminding everyone of the power of courage, kindness, and the magic that resides in the heart of nature. And so, the Whispering Willow stood tall once more, its branches whispering tales of hope and renewal to all who listened. Once upon a time, in a faraway land known as Eldoria, there was a magnificent kingdom surrounded by lush forests, sparkling rivers, and towering mountains. Eldoria was ruled by the wise and kind Queen Seraphina, who was loved by all her subjects. The kingdom was renowned for its beauty and prosperity, but there was one thing that made it truly unique: a magical lantern that floated high above the castle, casting a warm, golden light over the entire realm. The lantern, known as the Beacon of Eldoria, was said to hold the power to keep the kingdom flourishing and safe from harm. It was also a symbol of hope and unity for the people. But one fateful day, the lantern's light began to flicker and dim. Panic spread throughout the kingdom, for without the lantern's light, Eldoria would lose its magic and fall into darkness. Among the many people in the kingdom was a brave young girl named Lila. Lila was an orphan who lived on the outskirts of the village, but she had always admired the lantern's beauty and felt a deep connection to it. Determined to save her beloved kingdom, Lila decided to embark on a quest to restore the lantern's light. Equipped with a small satchel and her loyal dog, Pip, Lila set off on her journey. She traveled through the dense forests and crossed the sparkling rivers, guided by the faint, flickering light of the lantern. Her path led her to a hidden cave at the base of the misty mountains, where an ancient inscription read, "To restore the light, seek the heart of the stars." Inside the cave, Lila discovered a hidden chamber with 3 magical artifacts: a shimmering crystal, a golden key, and a silver compass. The inscription on the wall instructed her to find the heart of the stars, which was hidden deep within the enchanted forest, a place known for its magical creatures and mysteries. Lila followed the silver compass, which led her through the enchanted forest. The forest was filled with glowing flowers, talking animals, and whimsical creatures. As she walked, she encountered a wise old owl named Orion who perched on a branch. "Hello, young traveler," Orion hooted. "I can see you seek the heart of the stars. To find it, you must prove your bravery and kindness." Orion presented Lila with 3 challenges. The first was to help a family of lost fireflies find their way home. With Pip's help, Lila gently guided the fireflies back to their glowing nest. The second challenge was to mend a broken bridge that spanned a rushing river. Lila used her resourcefulness and the golden key from the cave to fix the bridge, allowing travelers to cross safely. The third challenge was to calm a frightened unicorn who had lost its way. Lila spoke soothingly to the unicorn and used the shimmering crystal to create a calming light that reassured the creature. Impressed by Lila's kindness and bravery, Orion revealed the location of the Heart of the Stars, a hidden grove illuminated by starlight. Lila and Pip ventured to the grove, where they found a beautiful, glowing star-shaped gem resting on a pedestal. As Lila reached for the Heart of the Stars, the grove began to shimmer with a celestial light. The gem's glow grew brighter, and Lila felt a warm, comforting energy envelop her. She realized that the Heart of the Stars was not only a magical artifact but also a symbol of hope and unity. With the Heart of the Stars in hand, Lila returned to the castle. The lantern's light began to grow stronger as she approached, and the kingdom's magic was restored. The beacon of Eldoria shone brightly once more, casting its golden light over the land and ensuring the prosperity and safety of the kingdom. Queen Seraphina and the people of Eldoria welcomed Lila with open arms and celebrated her bravery. The lantern's magic had been restored, and the kingdom thrived under its warm, golden glow. Lila's journey became a beloved story in Eldoria, a tale of courage, kindness, and the power of hope. She found a new home in the heart of the kingdom, where she continued to live happily ever after, always ready for new adventures and discoveries. And so, the beacon of Eldoria continued to shine brightly, a symbol of the kingdom's enduring magic and the heroism of a young girl who saved it. In a quaint village surrounded by misty hills and sparkling streams, there lived a humble potter named Finn. Finn was known throughout the village for his exquisite pottery, but there was one piece that stood out above all, an ancient, ornate teapot that had been passed down through generations. The teapot was unlike any other. It had delicate, intricate designs of swirling vines and tiny, shimmering stars. Legend had it that the teapot possessed magical powers, but Finn had never truly believed in such tales. He used it to serve tea to guests, finding joy in its beauty but doubting the stories. One chilly autumn evening, as Finn prepared for the village's annual harvest festival, he noticed something strange. The teapot began to glow softly, and a faint, melodious hum filled the room. Curious, Finn touched the teapot, and a warm, gentle light enveloped him. Suddenly, Finn found himself in a wondrous, otherworldly garden. The sky was a swirl of pastel colors, and flowers of every hue danced in the breeze. In the center of the garden stood a magnificent, golden tree with leaves that sparkled like diamonds. A graceful fairy, with wings that shimmered like the morning dew, fluttered down and introduced herself as Lumina, the guardian of the enchanted garden. She explained that the teapot was not just a vessel for tea but a magical portal to a realm that needed Finn's help. The enchanted garden was in danger. An evil sorcerer named Malor had cast a spell to drain the garden of its magic. Without the magic, the garden would wither, and the fairy realm would fall into darkness. Lumina needed Finn's help to retrieve 3 magical items that could restore the garden's enchantment. The first item was the moonlight crystal, hidden in the depths of a glistening lake. Finn bravely ventured to the lake and, with Lumina's guidance, found the crystal beneath the shimmering water. Its light was soft and soothing, like moonbeams captured in a gem. The second item was the sunflower of hope, which grew atop the highest peak in the realm. The journey was arduous, but Finn's determination and Lumina's encouragement helped him reach the summit. There, amidst a field of golden sunflowers, he carefully picked the one that glowed with a radiant, hopeful light. The final item was the heart of the garden, a rare blossom that bloomed only once every 100 years. To find it, Finn and Lumina had to navigate through a maze of thorny vines and trickling streams. Their path was fraught with challenges, but Finn's bravery and Lumina's wisdom saw them through. At last, they discovered the heart of the garden, a flower that pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic glow. With the 3 magical items in hand, Finn and Lumina returned to the enchanted garden. They placed the moonlight crystal, sunflower of hope, and heart of the garden in their designated spots beneath the golden tree. As they did, the garden began to shimmer and glow, its magic returning with a vibrant brilliance. Malor, the evil sorcerer, appeared, furious that his spell had been undone. But the garden's renewed magic was too powerful for him to overcome. With a final burst of light, Malor was banished from the realm, and peace was restored. Lumina thanked Finn with a warm embrace and offered him a small, silver locket as a token of gratitude. "This locket contains a fragment of the garden's magic," she said. "It will allow you to visit the enchanted garden whenever you wish." Finn returned to his village with a heart full of wonder and a story that would be told for generations. The teapot remained in his shop, still glowing faintly from time to time, a reminder of the magical adventure that had forever changed his life. The village celebrated the return of their hero, and the harvest festival that year was the most joyful ever. Finn's pottery thrived, and the teapot became a cherished heirloom, its magic a symbol of hope and adventure. And so, the enchanted garden remained a secret realm of beauty and magic, waiting for the next soul with a brave heart and kind spirit to discover its wonders. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled by the edge of an ancient forest, there was a peculiar shop known as the Lantern of Lost Wishes. The shop was run by an elderly woman named Mabel, who was renowned for her mysterious and enchanting collection of magical items. The centerpiece of the shop was a delicate lantern that glowed with a soft, golden light. The villagers believed that this lantern had the power to grant lost wishes and bring forgotten dreams to life. In this village lived a young boy named Oliver. Oliver was known for his boundless curiosity and his love of stories. Despite his cheerful demeanor, Oliver had a secret wish that had been buried deep within his heart for as long as he could remember. He wished to find his long-lost brother, Elias, who had disappeared many years ago. One chilly autumn evening, as the first stars began to twinkle in the twilight sky, Oliver decided to visit Mabel's shop. He hoped that the lantern might hold a clue to finding Elias. The shop was filled with the scent of old books and spices. And Mabel greeted Oliver with a warm smile. "Welcome, young Oliver," Mabel said kindly. "I sense that you seek something important." Oliver nodded, his heart pounding with hope and fear. "I want to find my brother, Elias. I've heard that your lantern can grant lost wishes. Can it help me?" Mabel's eyes twinkled with understanding. The lantern of lost wishes has indeed brought hope to many. However, it can only reveal its magic to those who approach it with a pure heart and a sincere wish. If you are truly determined, you may find what you seek. Mabel handed Oliver a small, ornate key. This key will unlock the lantern's magic. But remember, the lantern reveals what you need, not necessarily what you expect. Approach it with an open heart and follow where it leads. Oliver thanked Mabel and, with the key in hand, made his way home. That night, under the light of the full moon, he carefully unlocked the lantern and watched as its golden light filled the room. As the lantern glowed brighter, Oliver noticed that it began to project shimmering images on the walls, images of distant places, hidden paths, and a figure that looked strikingly familiar. The images formed a map, showing a route through the ancient forest and leading to a secluded cabin. Oliver felt a surge of excitement and determination. The next morning, he set out on the journey outlined by the lantern, guided by the hope of finding Elias. The path through the forest was long and winding, but Oliver's heart remained steadfast. He followed the map's directions, encountering various challenges along the way: a deep river that he crossed using a fallen tree, a steep hill that he climbed with the help of a kind deer, and a dark cave that he navigated with a lantern he had brought along. At last, Oliver reached the secluded cabin shown on the map. It was a small, charming place surrounded by wildflowers and bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. As Oliver approached the cabin, he noticed a figure sitting on the porch, reading a book. His heart skipped a beat as he recognized the figure, Elias. Tears of joy filled Oliver's eyes as he called out to his brother. Elias looked up, and a look of astonishment and joy crossed his face. "Oliver? Is that you?" Elias exclaimed, rushing to embrace his brother. The siblings were reunited, their hearts overflowing with happiness. Elias explained that he had been living in the cabin for years, having been separated from the village due to a series of unfortunate events. He had always hoped to find his way back home but had been unable to. Oliver shared the story of how he had used the lantern of lost wishes to find him. Together, they marveled at the magic of the lantern and the incredible journey that had brought them together. The two brothers returned to the village, where they were warmly welcomed back. The village celebrated their reunion with a grand feast, and the story of the lantern of lost wishes became a cherished tale. The lantern continued to glow softly in Mabel's shop, a symbol of hope and the power of true wishes. Oliver and Elias were forever grateful for the magic that had reunited them and for the love that had guided them on their journey. And so, the village thrived with joy and unity, and the lantern of lost wishes remained a beacon of dreams and the miracles that can happen when hearts are open and wishes are true. The end. The Starflower and the Dream Weaver. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far beyond the clouds, there was a magical land known as Celestia. Celestia was a realm of wondrous sights, fields of glittering stardust, skies that shimmered with colors unseen on Earth, and a magnificent castle built from moonlight and dreams. In this enchanting kingdom lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her kindness and her extraordinary gift of crafting dreams. She was the dream weaver, responsible for weaving dreams for the people of Celestia, ensuring their nights were filled with wonder and joy. One day, Lyra discovered a troubling message in the threads of a dream she was weaving. A dark shadow was creeping into Celestia, threatening to snuff out the magic of dreams and bring darkness to the land. The only way to stop this dark shadow was to find the elusive starflower, a legendary bloom said to hold the power to restore light and hope. The quest for the starflower determined to protect her kingdom, Lyra set off on her quest to find the starflower. The journey led her to the edge of Celestia, where the landscape transformed from fields of stardust to a mysterious, mist-covered forest known as the Twilight Woods. The Twilight Woods were known for their magical inhabitants and enchanted paths. As Lyra ventured into the forest, she encountered three magical beings, a shimmering dragonfly named Phelan, a wise old tortoise named Thaddeus, and a mischievous squirrel named Pippin. Each of them offered Lyra a clue about the starflower's whereabouts. Phelan spoke of a hidden grove where the starflower bloomed, Thaddeus advised her to follow the light of the moon, and Pippin warned her of the trap set by the forest's enchantments. The enchanted grove following the clues, Lyra journeyed deeper into the Twilight Woods. She navigated through the misty paths, guided by the moonlight and the sparkling trail left by Phelan. After a long and arduous trek, she finally arrived at the enchanted grove. The grove was bathed in a soft, silver glow, and at its center stood a majestic, ethereal flower with petals that shimmered like stars. This was the starflower. As Lyra approached, she saw that its light was dimming, and the dark shadow she had seen in the dream thread seemed to be closing in on it. The dark shadow materialized before her. It was a formidable creature, a shadowy figure with eyes that glowed like embers. The shadow snarled, "The starflower's magic belongs to the darkness now. You cannot save it." Lyra, though frightened, stood her ground. She remembered the wisdom of her friends and the importance of the starflower to Celestia. Gathering her courage, she used her dream weaver powers to craft a dream of hope and light, weaving it into the air like a shimmering tapestry. The dream's light began to push back the darkness, and the starflower's petals started to glow brighter. The dark shadow roared in frustration as the light grew stronger, dispelling the shadows that had threatened the grove. Restoring the light with the shadow vanquished, Lyra gently tended to the starflower, using her magic to restore its full brilliance. The flower's light spread throughout the grove, banishing the last remnants of darkness and filling the air with a warm, comforting glow. Lyra carefully picked a single petal from the starflower and held it close. The flower's light infused her with a sense of peace and renewed strength. She knew that this precious petal would help protect Celestia from future threats. Returning to Celestia, Lyra returned to Celestia, the starflower's petal glowing brightly in her hand. The kingdom welcomed her with open arms, and the dream weaver's magic was restored. Celestia flourished once more, bathed in the light of the starflower and the hope that Lyra had brought back. The tale of Lyra's bravery and the quest for the starflower became a cherished legend in Celestia. The people celebrated their hero, and the light of the starflower continued to shine brightly, a symbol of courage, hope, and the enduring magic of dreams. And so, the kingdom of Celestia thrived under the watchful glow of the starflower, forever grateful to the dream weaver who had saved their land from darkness and ensured that their dreams would always be filled with light. Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by vast emerald fields and rolling hills, there was a willow tree unlike any other. Known as the Whispering Willow, it stood at the heart of the village and was said to possess magical powers. The villagers believed that the tree could grant wishes, but only to those whose hearts were pure and selfless. In this village lived a young girl named Lily. She was known for her kind heart and unyielding curiosity. Lily lived with her grandmother, who would often tell her stories of the Whispering Willow and the many wishes it had granted. These stories filled Lily with wonder and a desire to visit the tree herself. One day, as Lily was tending to her chores, she noticed a commotion in the village square. A group of villagers had gathered, whispering anxiously. She hurried over to see what was happening and discovered that the village's well had dried up. Without water, the crops would wither, and the villagers would face a harsh winter. Determined to help, Lily decided to visit the Whispering Willow. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the stars began to twinkle, Lily made her way to the tree. She knelt beside its gnarled roots and whispered her wish. "Dear Whispering Willow, please bring water back to our village so that we may survive the coming winter," she pleaded, her voice soft but earnest. A gentle breeze rustled the willow's leaves, and Lily felt a strange warmth envelop her. The tree's branches swayed as if acknowledging her request. She stayed there for a while, feeling a deep connection to the ancient tree, before heading home with a hopeful heart. The next morning, Lily woke to the sound of joyous shouts. She rushed outside and saw the villagers gathered around the well. Water was flowing freely once more. The villagers were overjoyed, thanking the Whispering Willow for its miraculous gift. Lily's heart swelled with happiness, knowing that her wish had been granted. Days turned into weeks, and the village flourished. The fields were green, the crops grew tall, and the villagers worked together to prepare for winter. Despite their newfound prosperity, Lily felt that her work was not yet done. She knew that true happiness came not just from physical well-being but also from the bonds between people. She began organizing gatherings under the Whispering Willow, where villagers could share stories, sing psalms, and celebrate their community. These gatherings brought the villagers closer together, fostering a sense of unity and cooperation. One evening, during one such gathering, an old woman approached Lily. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom, and she spoke with a voice that seemed to echo with the whispers of the willow's leaves. "You have done well, young one," the old woman said. "The Whispering Willow's magic is not just in granting wishes but in bringing out the best in people. Your selfless heart and dedication to your village have made a true difference." Lily smiled, understanding that the magic of the Whispering Willow was intertwined with the goodness in people's hearts. The tree had granted her wish, but it was her own actions and the unity of the villagers that had truly transformed their lives. The story of Lily in the Whispering Willow spread far and wide, becoming a cherished legend. The tree continued to stand at the heart of the village, a symbol of hope and community. Villagers and travelers alike would visit, not just to make wishes, but to remember the power of kindness and togetherness. And so, the village thrived, its people living in harmony, guided by the gentle whispers of the willow tree in the legacy of a young girl's pure heart. They knew that as long as they remained united and kind, the magic of the Whispering Willow would always be with them. And they all lived happily ever after. The Dragon and the Glass Mountain. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom surrounded by lush forests and rolling hills, there was a legendary mountain made entirely of glass. The Glass Mountain shimmered in the sunlight and glowed softly under the moonlight. It was a sight of awe and wonder, but it was also a place of great mystery, for at the very top lived a dragon named Ember. Ember was no ordinary dragon. His scales were not the dark, menacing kind seen in most tales but instead gleamed like molten gold, reflecting the light in dazzling patterns. Ember had guarded the Glass Mountain for centuries, and it was said that he had been placed there by a powerful enchantress to protect a secret treasure hidden within the mountain's crystalline walls. The enchantment of the Glass Mountain. The people of the nearby village of Lemuria often gazed at the mountain from afar, dreaming of the treasures it held. Many brave souls had tried to climb the Glass Mountain to uncover its secrets, but the smooth, slippery surface made it impossible to scale, and Ember's watchful eyes saw all. In the heart of the village lived a young girl named Elara. Unlike the other villagers, Elara did not dream of riches or fame. She was curious and kind, and she loved stories of adventure and magic. Every evening, she would sit by the fire with her grandmother, who would tell her tales of the Glass Mountain and the dragon that guarded it. One day, as Elara wandered through the forest collecting herbs, she found herself standing at the base of the Glass Mountain. She marveled at its beauty, but as she looked up, she noticed something strange. The mountain seemed to shimmer differently than usual, as if it were calling out to her. A whisper from the mountain. As Elara stood there, she heard a soft, musical whisper carried on the wind. "Seek the heart, find the flame, within lies the key to end the dragon's reign." Startled, Elara looked around, but there was no one in sight. The whisper seemed to come from the mountain itself. Driven by her curiosity, she decided to return to the village and ask her grandmother about the strange message. That evening, Elara told her grandmother about the whisper she had heard. Her grandmother's eyes widened in surprise. "The heart of the mountain," she said slowly, "is said to be where the true treasure lies. But it's not gold or jewels. It's something far more powerful, something that could change the fate of the entire kingdom. Elara's curiosity only grew. What could it be? She asked. The heart of the mountain is a magical gem called the Heartstone, her grandmother explained. It's said to have the power to control the elements and bring peace to the land. But it has been hidden for centuries, and no one knows how to find it, except for the dragon, Ember. The journey begins. Elara knew what she had to do. Despite the dangers, she decided to seek the Heartstone and uncover the secret of the Glass Mountain. She packed a small bag with food, a lantern, and a tiny flute her grandmother had given her when she was a child. Early the next morning, Elara set out for the Glass Mountain. As she approached, she noticed that the mountain's surface seemed to ripple and shift, making it appear even more impossible to climb. But Elara remembered the whisper, "Seek the heart, find the flame." She realized that the path to the Heartstone might not be a physical climb, but a journey of the heart. She stood at the base of the mountain and began to play her flute. The sweet, lilting notes floated up towards the peak. As she played, the glassy surface of the mountain began to change. The smooth surface rippled like water, and a pathway of light appeared, spiraling up towards the summit. Elara's heart raced as she stepped onto the path. It was solid beneath her feet, yet it glowed with a warmth that felt alive. She followed the path upwards, the light guiding her way as it wound around the mountain. Meeting Ember as Elara neared the top, she saw a flash of golden light ahead. There, perched at the very peak of the mountain, was Ember. His eyes, like molten lava, watched her approach. But instead of attacking, the dragon simply stared at her, as if waiting. Elara swallowed her fear and stepped forward. "I've come to find the Heartstone," she said, her voice steady. "The mountain called to me." Ember's gaze softened, and to Elara's surprise, he spoke. "The Heartstone is the source of the mountain's magic, and of my own," the dragon rumbled. "For centuries, I have guarded it, bound by the enchantress's spell. But you are different from those who have come before. You did not seek gold or glory, but something deeper. The Heartstone has chosen you." Ember lowered his head, revealing a glowing crystal embedded in the mountain's peak, just beneath his massive claws. The Heartstone pulsed with a gentle, rhythmic light, like the beating of a heart. The true treasure. Elara stepped forward, her hand trembling as she reached out to touch the Heartstone. The moment her fingers brushed against it, a wave of warmth and light enveloped her. She felt the power of the mountain, the dragon, and the ancient magic all at once. The whispering voice returned, but this time it was clear and strong. "The heart of the mountain is not just a stone, it is the love, the courage, and the kindness within you. Use its power wisely, and the kingdom will thrive." As the light faded, Elara found herself standing at the base of the mountain once more. The Heartstone rested in her hand, glowing softly. The Glass Mountain had returned to its original form, and Ember was nowhere to be seen. Elara returned to the village, where she shared her story and the power of the Heartstone. The villagers were amazed and grateful, for with the Heartstone, Elara was able to bring prosperity and peace to Willowbrook. The once dormant fields bloomed, the rivers flowed with crystal-clear water, and the village thrived like never before. As for Ember, the dragon was freed from his centuries-long guardianship and was last seen soaring across the skies, his golden scales glinting in the sunlight. And so, the Glass Mountain remained, still shimmering in the light, a testament to the power of the heart and the courage of a young girl named Elara. Once upon a time, in a vibrant kingdom nestled between towering mountains and sparkling rivers, there was a small village known for its extraordinary gardens. Among its inhabitants was a young girl named Lyra, known for her unmatched gift with plants. Her garden was the most beautiful in the land, with flowers that danced in the breeze and fruits that glowed like gems. One crisp autumn day, as Lyra was tending to her garden, a mysterious fog rolled into the village. It was thick and silvery, and with it came a chill that made the flowers wilt and the fruits dim. The villagers were alarmed and puzzled, as the fog seemed to sap the life from everything it touched. Lyra decided to investigate. Guided by her instincts, she ventured into the heart of the fog, where she discovered a hidden grove she had never seen before. At its center stood a magnificent, ancient tree with silver leaves and a trunk that shimmered with an otherworldly light. An old woman with a cloak woven from moonbeams appeared beside the tree. She introduced herself as Selene, the guardian of the enchanted grove. "This fog is a sign of a great imbalance," Selene explained. "The tree of eternal bloom, which maintains the harmony between our world and the magic of the forest, has been cursed. Only someone with a heart full of purity and courage can lift the curse." Lyra's heart pounded with determination. "What must I do to help?" Selene handed her a golden compass with intricate engravings. "This compass will guide you to 3 enchanted flowers hidden in the forest. Each one holds a piece of the spell needed to break the curse. But beware, for each flower is guarded by a challenge that will test your spirit." Lyra took the compass and ventured into the forest. Her first destination was a clearing filled with enormous mushrooms. The compass pointed to the tallest mushroom, where she found a glowing, azure flower guarded by a fiery salamander. The salamander challenged her with a riddle: what can travel around the world while staying in a corner? Lyra thought for a moment and replied, "A stamp." Impressed by her wisdom, the salamander allowed her to take the flower. The compass led her next to a crystal-clear lake where a delicate, pink flower floated on a lily pad. However, a mischievous water sprite blocked her path. The sprite challenged her to a game of wits. If she lost, she would be trapped in the lake forever. Lyra, using her knowledge and quick thinking, solved the sprite's riddles and was granted the flower. Finally, the compass guided her to a dense thicket where an ancient, emerald flower lay guarded by a wise old owl. The owl asked her to prove her kindness by helping a lost fawn find its way back to its family. Lyra gently guided the fawn through the forest, and the owl, satisfied with her compassion, allowed her to take the final flower. With all 3 enchanted flowers in hand, Lyra returned to the grove. Selene instructed her to place the flowers around the base of the tree of eternal bloom and recite a spell of renewal. As Lyra completed the spell, the fog began to lift, and vibrant colors returned to the forest. The tree of eternal bloom radiated a brilliant light, restoring balance and harmony to the land. The villagers celebrated Lyra's bravery and kindness with a grand feast. The once fading garden flourished anew, more beautiful than ever, and the magical harmony of the forest was preserved. From that day forward, Lyra was known not only as a gifted gardener but also as a heroine who had restored the magic of the land. She continued to tend her garden, now blessed with the enchantments she had helped restore, and lived a life filled with wonder and joy. And so, the kingdom thrived in its renewed harmony, forever grateful to the girl with a heart full of courage and a love for the magic of nature. Once upon a time, in a lush and verdant valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a small village named Greenfield. Greenfield was known for its beauty and the gentle, ancient willow tree that stood in the center of the village square. This willow, known as the Whispering Willow, was said to possess magical powers that could grant wishes to those with a pure heart. The villagers revered the Whispering Willow, for it was said that its whispers could guide them through difficult times and fulfill their deepest desires. However, as years passed, the willow's leaves began to wilt, and its once soft whispers grew faint. The village's prosperity seemed to wane with the willow's declining magic. Among the villagers was a young girl named Luna, known for her curiosity and kindness. She loved the Whispering Willow dearly and was determined to restore its magic. One evening, as she sat beneath its drooping branches, she overheard the willow's faintest whisper, "Find the heart of the forest, and the magic shall return." Determined, Luna decided to embark on a quest to find the heart of the forest, which was said to be hidden deep within the enchanted woods. The enchanted woods were known for their magical creatures and mysterious pathways, and no one had ventured into them for years. Early the next morning, Luna set off with a small satchel filled with provisions and a heart full of hope. As she ventured into the woods, she met a cheerful squirrel named Nutmeg, who seemed to have a keen sense of direction. "Hello, Nutmeg," Luna said. "I'm searching for the heart of the forest. Can you help me find it?" Nutmeg twitched his nose and nodded. "Follow the path of golden acorns," he instructed. "They will guide you to the heart." Luna followed the trail of golden acorns, which led her deeper into the woods. She soon arrived at a sparkling brook where a graceful swan named Selene floated gracefully. Selene was known for her wisdom and her ability to see beyond the surface. To reach the heart of the forest, Selene said, "You must cross this brook by solving a riddle. Only then will the path become clear." Selene's riddle was, "I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I?" Luna pondered the riddle and replied, "A cloud." Selene smiled and allowed Luna to cross the brook. As she continued, she came upon a clearing where a gentle giant of a tree stood. This tree, known as Arbor, was the final guardian of the heart of the forest. Arbor's voice rumbled like distant thunder as he spoke. "To find the heart, you must demonstrate your true heart's worth. Plant this seed, and if your intentions are pure, it will reveal the path." Luna took the seed and planted it in the fertile soil of the clearing. She watered it with care and patience, and watched as it grew into a radiant tree with luminous, silver leaves. At the tree's base was a hidden compartment, and inside it was a glowing crystal, the heart of the forest. With the heart of the forest in hand, Luna made her way back to Greenfield. As she approached the whispering willow, she gently placed the crystal into a hollow within the tree's trunk. The moment the crystal touched the tree, a brilliant light erupted, and the willow's leaves began to shimmer and glow. The whispering willow's whispers grew louder and more vibrant, filling the village with a sense of joy and wonder. The village of Greenfield thrived once more, with its fields becoming lush and its people's spirits lifted. The willow's magic had been restored, and the village celebrated Luna's bravery and kindness. The tale of Luna's quest became a cherished story in Greenfield, passed down through generations. The whispering willow continued to stand as a symbol of hope and magic, reminding everyone that true magic lies in the purity of the heart and the courage to embark on a quest for the greater good. And so, Greenfield flourished, its nights brightened by the willow's whispers and its days filled with prosperity and joy, thanks to the bravery and determination of a young girl who listened to the whispers of her heart. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a kingdom named Luminera, renowned for its beautiful gardens. The most splendid of these was the Moonlit Garden, which bloomed only under the light of the full moon. The garden was said to be a gift from Luna, the moon goddess, and was filled with flowers that glowed with an ethereal light, enchanting anyone who wandered through it. In this kingdom lived a young girl named Elara, who loved the moonlit garden more than anything else. Every full moon, she would sneak out of her home and spend hours wandering among the glowing flowers, dreaming of the day she might meet Luna herself. Her grandmother, a wise woman named Maris, often warned her that the garden's beauty was not without its dangers, but Elara's curiosity always led her back. One night, as Elara roamed the garden, she stumbled upon a hidden path she had never seen before. Her heart raced with excitement as she followed the path, which led to a secluded glade where a single, magnificent flower stood. The flower's petals shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow, and its fragrance was so enchanting that Elara felt drawn to it. As she reached out to touch the flower, a voice echoed through the glade. "Who dares to disturb my sanctuary?" The voice was soft yet commanding, and Elara looked up to see a figure bathed in moonlight standing before her. It was Luna, the moon goddess, her silver hair flowing like liquid light and her eyes sparkling like stars. Elara fell to her knees. "I'm sorry, Luna. I didn't mean to intrude. I was just curious." Luna's expression softened. Curiosity is a gift, but it must be tempered with wisdom. You have found the heart of the garden, a flower that holds immense power. It can grant any wish, but it must be used with a pure heart. Elara's eyes widened. "Any wish?" Luna nodded. "But be warned, young one. A selfish wish will bring great misfortune. Choose wisely." Elara thought of her village, which had been suffering from a terrible drought. The fields were barren, and the rivers had dried up. She stood up with determination. "I wish for rain to end the drought and bring life back to my village." Luna smiled. "Your heart is pure, Elara. Your wish will be granted." She touched the heart of the garden, and a beam of light shot up to the sky, piercing the clouds. Moments later, the sky darkened, and gentle rain began to fall. Ilara returned to her village, where the rain had already begun to revive the fields and fill the rivers. The villagers rejoiced, and Ilara's grandmother hugged her tightly. "You have done a great thing, my dear. Luna must have seen the purity of your heart." The next full moon, Ilara returned to the moonlit garden to thank Luna. As she wandered through the now thriving garden, she noticed that the heart of the garden was gone. In its place was a small, glowing seed. Luna appeared once more. "The heart of the garden has served its purpose, but its magic lives on in this seed. Plant it in your village, and it will grow into a new moonlit garden, bringing beauty and magic to your home." Ilara took the seed and planted it in the center of her village. Over the next few months, a new moonlit garden blossomed, more beautiful than anyone could have imagined. The villagers tended to it with care, and it became a place of wonder and joy for all. Ilara grew up to be a wise and beloved leader of her village, always remembering Luna's lesson about the power of a pure heart. And every full moon, she would visit the moonlit garden, grateful for the magic and beauty that had transformed her village. And so, the kingdom of Luminera lived happily ever after, with the moonlit garden as a reminder of the magic that could be found in the world when one acted with a pure heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom called Harmonia, there was a charming village named Melody Springs. Known for its beautiful music and skilled musicians, Melody Springs was a place where harmony reigned supreme. Among its residents was a young girl named Lila, who had a voice so enchanting that it could make the flowers bloom and the birds sing along. Lila lived with her parents in a cozy cottage on the edge of the village. Her mother was a renowned harpist, and her father was a master violinist. They often played together, filling their home with the sweetest melodies. Lila loved singing along, and her dream was to find the legendary enchanted harp, a magical instrument said to produce music so beautiful it could heal any ailment and bring peace to troubled hearts. One fateful day, a terrible storm struck the village, bringing sickness and despair. The once cheerful tunes of Melody Springs were replaced by the sounds of coughing and crying. Lila's parents fell ill, and despite her best efforts to care for them, they grew weaker each day. Desperate to save her parents and restore joy to her village, Lila decided to search for the enchanted harp. The legend of the enchanted harp told of its resting place deep within the Whispering Woods, guarded by mythical creatures and protected by powerful spells. With a heart full of determination and a small bag of provisions, Lila set off on her quest at dawn. As she entered the Whispering Woods, the trees seemed to whisper secrets and warnings. The path was unclear, and the shadows played tricks on her eyes. Suddenly, a majestic stag with antlers like silver branches appeared before her. "Why do you venture into these woods, young one?" the stag asked. "I seek the enchanted harp to heal my parents and bring happiness back to my village," Lila replied. The stag looked at her with gentle eyes. "Your intentions are noble. I will guide you to the Forest of Echoes, where the guardian of the harp resides. But beware, the path is fraught with challenges that will test your heart." Grateful for the stag's help, Lila followed him through the dense forest. They crossed sparkling streams and climbed rocky hills, and as they walked, the stag told Lila stories of the forest and its magic. After a long journey, they arrived at the Forest of Echoes, a mystical place where every sound seemed to linger and repeat. In the center of the forest stood a grand tree with golden leaves, and at its base lay the enchanted harp, glowing softly with an ethereal light. But between Lila and the harp was a fierce griffin, its wings spread wide and its eyes blazing. "Who dares to approach the enchanted harp?" the griffin roared. "It is I, Lila of Melody Springs," she said, stepping forward bravely. "I seek the harp to heal my parents and my village." The griffin studied her for a moment. "The harp is not for the faint of heart. To claim it, you must prove your worth by completing 3 tasks." Lila nodded, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. "First," the griffin said, "you must find the melody stone hidden within this forest. It emits a tune that only the pure of heart can hear." Lila closed her eyes and listened intently to the sounds around her. Focusing on her love for her parents and her village, she followed a faint, beautiful melody. After a long search, she found the melody stone beneath a bed of moss, its tune growing louder as she approached. The griffin nodded in approval. "Second, you must mend the broken lyre. It has been shattered for centuries, and only the hands of the kind-hearted can restore it." Lila gathered the pieces of the broken lyre scattered around the forest and began to piece them together. She sang softly as she worked, her voice guiding her hands. Slowly, the lyre came together, whole and beautiful once more. Finally, the griffin said, "You must sing a song that touches my heart, proving your intentions are true." Lila took a deep breath and began to sing a lullaby her mother used to sing to her. Her voice filled the forest, and even the trees seemed to lean in to listen. As she sang, the griffin's fierce expression softened, and tears glistened in its eyes. "You have proven yourself worthy, Lila," the griffin said. "The enchanted harp is yours." With reverence, Lila approached the harp and gently strummed its strings. A melody more beautiful than anything she had ever heard filled the air. She felt the harp's magic flow through her, and she knew it would heal her parents and bring joy back to Melody Springs. The stag led Lila safely back to her village, where she played the enchanted harp for her parents and the villagers. The harp's magic worked wonders, curing the sick and lifting everyone's spirits. Melody Springs was filled with music and laughter once more. Lila's parents embraced her, their eyes filled with pride and gratitude. "You have brought hope and happiness back to our lives, my brave daughter," her mother said. From that day on, Lila continued to play the enchanted harp, using its magic to help those in need. Her story spread far and wide, inspiring others to believe in the power of love, music, and courage. And so, the kingdom of Harmonia thrived, forever grateful to the brave girl who brought the magic of the enchanted harp into their lives. The end. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Willowbrook, nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, there was a young girl named Lila. Known for her beautiful singing voice, Lila lived with her grandmother, who was a skilled herbalist. Their cozy cottage was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the warmth of love and laughter. One evening, as Lila and her grandmother were preparing for the harvest festival, a mysterious fog rolled into Willowbrook. The villagers gathered in concern as the fog thickened and an eerie silence fell over the land. The usually vibrant flowers wilted, and the river's song seemed to falter. The village elder, a wise woman named Seraphina, explained that the fog was caused by the loss of the enchanted melody, a magical tune that kept the balance of nature in harmony. According to the ancient legend, the enchanted melody was kept in a hidden glade within the Whispering Woods, a forest that no one dared to enter due to its enchantments. Determined to restore peace to her village, Lila decided to venture into the Whispering Woods to find the lost melody. Her loyal companion, a clever squirrel named Nutmeg, decided to join her. As Lila and Nutmeg entered the Whispering Woods, the trees seemed to whisper secrets and the path twisted in unexpected ways. Their first challenge was a labyrinth of thorns that seemed to shift and move. Just as they began to despair, a gentle voice spoke from above. "To pass through the thorns, you must solve my riddle," said a graceful phoenix perched on a branch. "I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but not go outside. What am I?" Lila thought carefully and then smiled. "A piano." The phoenix flapped its fiery wings, and the thorns parted, revealing a clear path. Lila and Nutmeg continued their journey and soon reached a shimmering lake with a swan gliding gracefully across its surface. The swan approached them with a solemn expression. "To find the enchanted melody, you must show compassion," said the swan. "This lily has wilted. Can you bring it back to life?" Lila carefully tended to the wilted lily, singing a soft and soothing song that her grandmother had taught her. As she sang, the lily's petals unfurled and its color returned. The swan smiled and, in gratitude, created a bridge of moonlight across the lake for them to cross. As they walked through the forest, they arrived at a moonlit glade where a silver tree stood at its center. The tree's branches were covered with shimmering leaves that seemed to hum with a gentle melody. However, the tree was surrounded by a circle of dark shadows. Emerging from the shadows was an imposing figure, an ancient sorcerer named Vorten, who had stolen the enchanted melody to harness its power for himself. His eyes glowed with malevolent intent as he brandished a dark staff. "The melody is mine," Vorten bellowed. "You cannot have it." Lila stood her ground, her heart pounding with determination. "The enchanted melody belongs to everyone. It should be used to bring harmony and joy, not to control others." Vorten raised his staff, ready to unleash his dark magic, but Nutmeg darted forward and bit the sorcerer's hand, causing him to drop his staff. In the ensuing struggle, Lila seized the enchanted melody from the tree's branches. A brilliant light burst forth from the melody, dispelling the shadows and banishing Vorten from the glade. With the melody in her hands, Lila made a wish. "I wish for the fog to lift and for Willowbrook to return to its former beauty." The enchanted melody's light spread throughout the whispering woods and beyond, lifting the fog and restoring the land to its vibrant self. The flowers bloomed, the river sang once more, and the village of Willowbrook was filled with light and joy. Lila and Nutmeg returned to the village as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery with a grand festival, where Lila's enchanting voice filled the air, her songs blending perfectly with the restored melody. The enchanted melody was placed in a special shrine in the village, where its magic could continue to protect and bring happiness to the land. Lila's bravery and compassion were remembered for generations, and her story became a beloved legend, inspiring others to act with kindness and courage. And so, the village of Willowbrook thrived under the watchful eyes of its brave young heroine, living happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a land where the skies were always bright and the trees always green, there was a hidden forest known as the Forest of the Forgotten. This magical forest was filled with trees that held the memories of those who had wandered through its woods long ago. The forest was said to be enchanted, and its magic was both wondrous and mysterious. In a cozy cottage at the edge of the village of Larkspur, lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was known throughout the village for her curiosity and kindness. Her parents had passed away when she was very young, and she lived with her wise grandmother, who often told her stories about the magical forest of the Forgotten. One evening, Elara's grandmother told her about a special tree in the forest, the Tree of Wishes. This ancient tree was said to grant one true wish to someone who had a pure heart and selfless intentions. The tree's magic could only be unlocked by someone who truly needed help, and Elara decided she wanted to find it. Early one morning, with a basket of supplies and a heart full of hope, Elara set off on her adventure into the Forest of the Forgotten. The forest was filled with a symphony of sounds, birds chirping, leaves rustling, and the gentle murmur of a hidden brook. The deeper Elara ventured, the more the forest seemed alive with secrets. As Elara walked, she noticed the trees seemed to watch her with their wise, old eyes. She felt a bit nervous but pressed on, remembering her grandmother's stories. After a few hours of wandering, Elara came upon a small clearing with a shimmering stream flowing through it. At the center of the clearing was a beautiful, golden tree with leaves that glowed softly. Elara approached the tree with awe and gently touched its bark. "I've come seeking the Tree of Wishes," she said softly. "I need help for my village, which has been suffering from a terrible drought. If you can help us, we'd be forever grateful." The Tree of Wishes responded with a warm, golden light. Its leaves rustled as if whispering secrets, and a gentle breeze carried the sound of a soothing voice. "Your heart is pure, Elara," the tree spoke. "The village has suffered, and your kindness and courage have brought you here. I will grant your wish, but first, you must complete a task." Elara listened intently as the Tree of Wishes explained the task. She had to retrieve a magical crystal hidden deep within the forest, guarded by a fierce dragon. This crystal had the power to summon rain and end the drought. Though frightened, Elara was determined to help her village. With the tree's guidance, Elara ventured further into the forest, following a path marked by glowing mushrooms. She reached a dark cave where the dragon was said to live. Gathering her courage, she entered the cave and found the dragon, an enormous, shimmering creature with scales like jewels. The dragon looked at Elara with curious eyes. "Why have you come here, little one?" it rumbled. "I need the crystal to help my village," Elara said bravely. We're suffering from a drought, and I must bring it back to save them." The dragon studied her carefully and then nodded. "Many have come seeking the crystal, but you are the first to show such bravery and kindness. The crystal is yours, but remember, it is a powerful gift. Use it wisely." With a respectful bow, Elara took the crystal and thanked the dragon. She made her way back to the Tree of Wishes, where the tree used its magic to combine the crystal's power with its own. A gentle rain began to fall, soaking the thirsty ground and bringing relief to the land. Elara returned to her village, where everyone rejoiced at the sight of the rain. The crops began to grow, and the village flourished once more. Elara was celebrated as a hero, but she humbly shared that the true magic had come from the heart of the forest and the kindness she had shown. The villagers, inspired by Elara's bravery and the magic of the forest, learned to care for one another and cherish the gifts of the land. The Forest of the Forgotten remained a place of wonder, where the memories of those who showed kindness lived on forever. And so, Elara's tale was passed down through generations, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, a pure heart and a selfless wish can bring about the most magical changes. The end. In the heart of a misty valley, surrounded by whispering woods and shimmering lakes, lay the village of Lunaria. Lunaria was known for its beautiful moonlit nights when the stars danced across the sky and the moon's light painted everything in silver. But there was one secret that made these nights even more special: the moonlit melody. The moonlit melody was a magical tune that could only be heard on nights when the moon was full. It was said that the melody could only be played by someone pure of heart, and it had the power to heal and bring joy to those who heard it. For many years, the villagers spoke of the melody, but no one had ever seen who played it. One evening, a kind-hearted young girl named Elara moved to Lunaria with her grandmother. Elara loved the village and was fascinated by the tales of the moonlit melody. Her grandmother often told her stories about how the melody could make flowers bloom in winter and bring peace to troubled hearts. On her first full moon night in Lunaria, Elara went outside to listen for the melody. As the moon rose high and the stars sparkled brightly, she heard a soft, enchanting tune drifting through the air. It was the moonlit melody. Elara followed the sound, her heart pounding with excitement. The melody led her to the edge of the village and into the dense woods. There, she found a hidden glade bathed in moonlight. In the center of the glade stood a magnificent, silver harp, its strings shimmering under the moon's glow. Sitting gracefully beside the harp was a mysterious figure cloaked in shimmering robes. The figure played the harp with delicate fingers, and the music was even more beautiful up close. Elara was mesmerized. She stepped forward, making a soft sound. The figure looked up and smiled kindly. "Who are you?" Elara asked, her voice full of wonder. "I am Lyra, the guardian of the moonlit melody," the figure replied. "I play this melody to bring joy and healing to the world. It has been my duty for many centuries." Elara's eyes widened. "Can you teach me to play the moonlit melody? I want to help others, just like you." Lyra's eyes twinkled. "The melody can only be played by those with a pure heart. If you wish to learn, you must first prove your kindness." Lyra explained that there was a magical challenge Elara needed to complete. She must help 3 people in need before the moon set. Each person would present her with a challenge, and only by solving these challenges with compassion could she earn the right to learn the melody. Elara agreed and set off on her quest. Her first stop was an elderly woman who had lost her way in the forest. Elara guided her back to her cozy cottage, sharing warm tea and stories. The woman, grateful and comforted, gave Elara a small, glowing feather as a token of thanks. Next, Elara found a wounded deer lying by the stream. She gently tended to its injuries, using her scarf to bandage its leg. The deer, now able to walk again, nudged Elara with its head and gave her a shimmering leaf as a sign of its gratitude. Finally, Elara came across a young boy sitting alone by the river, looking sad. He had lost his favorite toy boat in the river. Elara searched the water and, with a little effort, retrieved the boat. The boy's face lit up with joy, and he hugged Elara tightly, handing her a tiny, sparkling stone. With the 3 tokens, feather, leaf, and stone, Elara returned to the glade. Lyra smiled and accepted the gifts. You have shown great kindness and compassion. You are now worthy to learn the moonlit melody. Lyra taught Elara how to play the harp and the melody that had enchanted the village for so long. Under Lyra's guidance, Elara played the harp, and the melody filled the night with a deeper magic, one of hope and healing. As the moon began to set, Lyra blessed Elara and disappeared into the mist. From then on, Elara played the moonlit melody on every full moon night, spreading joy and healing throughout Lunaria and beyond. The village of Lunaria thrived with the magic of the melody. The moonlit nights became even more magical, and the tale of Elara's kindness and the moonlit melody was passed down through generations. And so, the secret of the moonlit melody continued, cherished by all who heard it, and Elara's story became a timeless legend of the power of kindness and the magic of the moon. In a charming village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river, lived a young girl named Eira. Eira had a deep love for the stars, spending each night gazing up at the sky with wonder and dreaming of the magical places beyond. One evening, as Eira was lying on a grassy hill, she noticed something unusual, a shimmering bridge made of stardust arching across the night sky. It seemed to glow with a gentle, inviting light. Curious and excited, Eira decided to follow the stardust bridge to see where it led. As she stepped onto the bridge, it felt soft beneath her feet, like walking on clouds. The bridge sparkled with every step she took, leading her higher and higher into the sky. Eira felt a rush of excitement and wonder as she climbed higher than she had ever imagined. After what seemed like an eternity of sparkling steps, she reached the end of the bridge, arriving in a magical land called Celestia. The land was filled with floating islands, glittering rivers of light, and trees with leaves made of pure crystal. The sky was a swirling tapestry of colors, and the air was filled with the sweet sound of celestial music. Eira was greeted by a friendly guide, a wise old star sprite named Orion. With twinkling eyes and a gentle smile, Orion explained that Celestia was a realm of dreams and magic, where wishes were granted and stars were born. However, the land was in great peril. An ancient spell had been cast by the sorceress Noctara, which caused the stars to lose their light and the balance of Celestia to waver. Orion revealed that to restore the light and balance to Celestia, Eira needed to find 3 magical star crystals hidden in different corners of the realm. Each crystal had a unique power and was guarded by a challenge that required bravery, kindness, and cleverness. The first crystal, the Crystal of Courage, was hidden in the Forest of Echoes. The forest was dense and filled with echoing sounds that could disorient anyone who entered. Eira ventured into the forest, where she faced her fear of the unknown. By trusting her heart and following the echoes of her own courage, she discovered the Crystal of Courage hidden in a shimmering glade. The second crystal, the Crystal of Kindness, was located in the Lake of Reflections. The lake's surface was covered with illusions that showed the darkest fears and hopes of those who looked into it. Eira had to navigate through these illusions and show true kindness to a lost and frightened swan. By helping the swan find its way home, she received the Crystal of Kindness from the depths of the lake. The final crystal, the Crystal of Wisdom, was found in the Tower of Stars, which reached up to the highest point in Celestia. The tower was filled with ancient riddles and puzzles that tested one's wisdom. Eira used her knowledge and intuition to solve the riddles and reached the top of the tower, where she discovered the Crystal of Wisdom glowing brightly. With all 3 crystals in hand, Eira returned to Orion. Together, they placed the crystals in a celestial altar at the center of Celestia. The crystals began to radiate a brilliant light, and the stars in the sky shimmered back to life. The balance of Celestia was restored, and the realm was filled with renewed magic and harmony. Orion thanked Eira for her bravery and kindness. As a token of gratitude, he gifted her a small, silver star pendant that would allow her to visit Celestia whenever she wished. The pendant would also serve as a reminder of the adventure and the lessons learned along the way. Eira stepped back onto the Stardust Bridge, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment and joy. As she descended back to her village, the bridge gently faded away behind her, leaving only the twinkling stars above as a memory. From that day on, Eira carried the silver star pendant with her, cherishing the magical adventure she had experienced. She continued to gaze at the stars with wonder, knowing that beyond them lay a realm of dreams and magic waiting to be discovered. And so, the tale of Aira and the Stardust Bridge became a beloved story in her village, inspiring others to follow their dreams and find the magic within themselves.